We got a banger this week.
Finally.
When we have this podcast, it's just like, here's a bunch of rando news that comes out of nowhere.
Yes.
Well, Sony put on a 45-minute action-packed state of play.
Hell yeah.
So we're just going to get to talk about a whole bunch of Sony shit.
Nice. I'm poor and don't have a PlayStation 5.
Excellent. Welcome back, everybody, to the dojo right here. No, that's not what we're doing. Welcome back to the RageSelect podcast right here on RageSelect. I'm going on autopilot. I'm Jeff.
I'm Amanda. Firmly stuck in manual.
I feel like we both might have enough caffeine to get through this. We maybe.
I shotgunned a Red Bull before I came here and then opened a new Red Bull. So.
Oh man, back to back. Well, I'm trying to finish my Starbucks Melon Burst Ice Energy drink before I open up
what
my
are you, sponsored?
venti black coffee, black iced coffee.
Exciting.
So yeah, I just didn't have enough time. You got here earlier than I normally. I'd chug.
First of all, I got here like 13 minutes earlier than
That's
I said.
all it takes.
Yeah. You were really hoping that I'd come late, and then we started super late anyway.
That's true. That's true.
Because of the secret podcast.
Because of the secret podcast.
Yeah, but it doesn't exist.
So we got the Sony State of Play. We got some other news, but I figured this is probably going to take up most of what we're doing here. But before we start, I tried to watch a movie. It didn't work.
Oh.
I turned it off.
What movie did you quit halfway through? Halfway through? How far in?
Like a third.
Okay.
It was a 90-minute movie. And it wasn't something I was all that interested in. It as a tie-in to the podcast, but there's like an old... it was an old samurai movie called Samurai, and it was like a trilogy. So it's the first one called Samurai 1. It was on Max. And it was it's one of the, you watch a lot of old movies?
I do.
Sometimes you watch an old movie where you're just like, okay, I understand why people at the time would like this, but I'm just watching, like, in this movie, I was just watching this jerk, kind of like run around in feudal Japan, kind of being a dick to everybody. And then it got to the first action scene, and it was like, oh, right, this is before like choreography or martial arts or anything. So it's just a bunch of guys kind of like running at each other, going like, ah! And I was like, I'm not having any fun here.
Yeah, and then they're always like 3.5 hours long, and you're like, I don't know.
But you know what? I feel bad because I really didn't want to come out here with yet another animated show, because 2 weeks ago I watched that Spider-Man show on Disney, or at least the first 2 episodes. It was pretty good. And last week I watched that Common Side Effect show. I liked that. And then last weekend I watched the first 3 episodes of Invincible that came out.
Oh, nice.
The new season of Invincible.
Season. Yeah.
Which I keep forgetting those are 45 minutes long. But, I don't remember everything that happened in Invincible after the first arc. Like, I remember the very first, it turns out Omni-Man is a bad guy thing. And, calm it down. You've had enough time to watch the first episode of Invincible if this is a thing.
All the memes are based on him being a bad guy.
Yeah,
so you there's no way where were you hiding?
Sure, yes. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of forget. Like, I don't actually know what happens in the second half, because I think when I first read the Invincible comics, they were only about halfway through, and then I read half of it, and I was like, well, I wasn't going to do month to month. I was just binge reading stuff. And I was like, I'll come back someday. But now it's like, well, I have to read the whole thing from beginning to end. What I'll say is that season 2 had a lot of focus on the 3 stories that I remember from season 2. I don't know how familiar you are with Invincible.
I know of Invincible. It was kind of super popular when I was working at the comic book store.
Yeah.
But I didn't read it because I don't like...
Kirkman?
Yeah, I really don't.
That's fine. I mean...
and John watches the show, so sometimes I'm like on the outskirts of seeing episodes and like stuff like that, but I don't pay attention to it.
So in season 2, I feel like the arc that they had was Omni-Man has a kid, and then he goes to prison, and then you've got what's his face, the Martian guy with the big eyeball, who's trying to get him out of prison, which was okay. Invincible is slowly breaking up with his girlfriend. That was okay. There's the kind of their take on Mars thing where it's these parasites that are trying to get to Earth, and they like infect people's brains.
Yeah.
And then there's a guy that kind of comes and pretends to be a superhero. That was okay. And then like I guess the meta plot was like this reality hopping guy that comes from a reality where the Viltrumites have taken over and they're very oppressive. And he keeps jumping between realities to get different versions of himself, and then it ends up with this whole thing at the end. And I thought that was okay. And I was like, all these were fine. They were very workmanlike, but none of them were quite as good as the first season. Yeah. The first 3 episodes of the third season, I think, were really good. I mean, anybody that's actually seen what the thumbnail of it looks like on Amazon is there's a bit of a break between Mark and the kind of the government organization that he works for. There's a little bit more interesting stuff in the romantic life because you got kind of superheroes stuff. So I think it's looking better, like as a show.
It's picking up.
Yeah, like it's more engaging. Like the big thing with I think the beginning of the third season is kind of a question of like different superhero ethics and morality and stuff. And I'm more into that than I am into like how hard does Invincible get punched this week.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah, I think I'm really liking what I've seen so far. It's kind of like The Boys. Like, I've kept up with The Boys, and I've been like, I like The Boys. Like, I would never be like, you got to watch The Boys. But I'm like, if you're watching The Boys, you can keep watching The Boys real easy.
Yeah. So. Oddly enough, the Boys plot pisses me off. The comic plot. Like the scenes that I know of from the like early stuff of the comic piss me off too much, and I won't watch it. It's not my vibe anyway.
Sure.
I don't really read superhero comics.
Yep.
But I
mean,
I have kept up with The Boys more than I have with like just
Invincible.
Just the sheer amount of like memification for The Boys has really kept me in the loop of what's going on with that show.
Well, and The Boys is very much vectored off in its own direction from where the comics went.
Yeah.
The comics were...
Oh, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't be able to watch it anyway because it still would... I think, like, if I sat and through an entire episode, it would still piss me off.
Sure.
Because it's just like...
Would it just be a war
I'm
between...
not a big, like, piece of shit... fan, like, you know, like I watched the entire first season of Breaking Bad, and I'm like, these are all bad people. They're all terrible and they're all horrible, and I'm supposed to like them.
Yeah,
they're all shitty, and it's like The Boys has some people that aren't like the worst, but like they have some people that are in fact the worst.
The thing, okay, like. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
The thing I always try to like remind people of though is like, okay, people, because I run into people who have that opinion, and it's fine. Like, you don't have to like The Boys. There's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like a lot of people that I run into, I'm like, you've worked at a comic book shop, and I'm not coming at you or anything.
No, go for it.
But like, it's like, you've read Preacher, right? Like, this is Garth Ennis. Like, The Boys is just more Garth Ennis. I've read a lot of Garth Ennis books, and they're all...
I haven't read Preacher.
Well, they're all... No, but see, they're all like... You had the 90s edgelords. You had like your Frank Miller.
Oh, yeah. No, but I hate the 90s edgelord stuff.
Warren Ellis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just Garth Ennis was like one flavor of that, where there was like people... There was like... you know, a lot of the 90s edgelord shit was bad, but then there was like 3 or 4 people at the top who could pull it off well.
Yeah.
And Garth Ennis was one of them, where even though I think that Preacher does not hold up, because you talk about...
That is also an issue, is that I didn't really get into a lot of those comics until later.
You go back and the comic book Preacher really wants you to identify with Jesse Custer, and I do not think that now, if you go back and read Preacher, that you're just like, you suck.
I hope I don't identify with him.
Ooh, you and Cassidy both suck. Get out of there, Tulip. Leave. Do something else, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm also not trying to like... I know I said like they're shitty and I hate them, but like for me,
yeah, it's your opinion.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like when I want to wind down,
we're not fighting Pokemon over here.
You know what I mean? Like when I want to wind down, I tend to go more like whimsical. But even then, like I just got a comic yesterday, a trade that they were ranting about at Rogues Gallery, and they were talking. And I wish I could remember what it was called. But it's it's a world kind of Howard the Duck style. Everyone's animals.
Okay.
It's drawn almost like a children's book, and it's about a bear, like a middle-aged woman who lives I think alone, like a spinster lady in her small town.
Okay.
And it looks very sweet and wonderful. It's also kind of like Dexter murderer kind of thriller.
Okay.
She's a murderer. She goes into the city and kills people and disposes of the body, and then she comes back home from one of those like trips to her tiny town, and somebody killed somebody, and so now she's hunting the killer because it's like her turf.
What is this called?
That's what I don't remember.
Oh, okay. All right,
I just have it. I bought it yesterday.
Okay.
They were like, they pitched it to me, and I was like, yes, absolutely, I have to do it.
Let's see.
Oh my God.
Woman,
I wish.
Small town. Okay. Anyway, you were saying we don't get too hung up on this.
Beneath a Tree Where Nobody Sees.
Okay.
You have to look it up. It's like such sweet art.
Oh, there we go. Autofill.
But yeah, so it has to have a weird like whimsy, but also
yeah. Oh yeah.
But it can be gruesome and edgelordy. I don't know. I was just talking to John about how like the rules that I make for things where I'm like, I only like this and I don't like that, are just on the whim of how I feel, like the vibes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for years, Amanda, people have been trying to figure out like, what is Jeff like? And I'm like, there is no answer. It could be a romantic comedy about bears, or it could be like a documentary about Bjork, or it could be the latest MCU movie. I mean, it's whatever I like is what I like.
This is very similar to like the off-screen conversations we have when people start having the why don't you review things anymore? Right. And it's that because reviews are kind of at the whim of like, was I in a good mood when I played this game, or was it just like a bad timing to play it? And I liked this, but this other game did the exact same thing, but I didn't like that. And people hold you to like, you have to be a very robotic thought process, and that's just not how people work.
One of the reasons I stopped doing reviews was because I think I finally got one of those comments early on in the RageSelect days where just like, I can't believe you gave X a 4 and you gave Y a 5, and what fucking kind of piece of shit are you? And I'm just like, I'm not looking for consistency. I never signed up to be like, I am your lord of opinions. Listen to what I say, bitches.
It's just, so it's just, I don't know why I had to defend myself in that, but like, I just don't want people to feel like I'm attacking them on things.
Yeah.
Like, watch what you want, like what you like. I certainly don't have the best combination of likes. So,
well, what about you? Do you see anything recently that you feel like would be interesting?
No, I think the only thing John and I did, because we took like a long weekend this week, and we went to a live taping of AEW Dynamite. So we went to a wrestling show.
There you go.
We're on TV.
Nice.
So if you watch the February 12th episode, so it was like Wednesday. I don't know when this airs, so I don't know. It streams on the Max.
Okay.
So if you
did you guys go through it and find yourselves?
Yeah, we rewatched it. So it taped on so we were there on a Tuesday watching it live, and then it aired on Wednesday.
Nice.
And we sat and watched ourselves on Wednesday.
It's me again. But
I am dead center in the, like, John and I are both dead center in the, I posted a picture of it on my Instagram account.
Yeah.
But here, this is like,
oh yeah, you guys are right up
we're right there.
Look for pink. What are you wearing? You're wearing a pink hoodie.
I'm wearing a pink hoodie. It's a specific wrestler's hoodie, so I bought it there and put it on. And it's very fun to like see it twice.
Yeah,
I don't know. So we'll see. You guys can go watch it. But it was a blast. Live wrestling is 10 times more fun than watching like TV wrestling, and I really like TV wrestling. So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of stuff that's fun, let's talk about some video games.
Let's do it.
45 minutes worth of video games and
2 minutes to do it.
I've done the math.
It's gonna work out.
Yep. So we started out this particular conference with another trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds. This is one of those things where it's like, this game is out in 2 weeks, so I'm kind of like, yeah, man, like I was gonna get it already. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like everyone I talk to, it's like you don't have to pitch it anymore.
Yeah,
they know.
Part of it is right that like they're really hoping to get new people in. You know, this is the first time in a while that there's been a brand new one. The last one was a Switch only game. So, I mean, I get it. But I've also seen enough Monster Hunter montages to be like, yep. There it is, everybody.
Sure
Another
is.
Monster Hunter montage.
Yeah, but have you ever seen a monster poop on you before? Because
yeah, that happens. I mean, there's some, you know,
that was a choice.
There's some new specific stuff in here, and I'm sure that people who are really familiar with like the specific monsters are like, oh, I can't believe it's Flarmagos and Sporgline and you know,
my personal favorite,
Smack-a-Mac.
It's the Smack'em frog.
Yeah. It looks good. I mean, it's in the RE engine, which has been looking good for, you know, since 7.
Yeah.
It's nice to see. I am a little mad that they just put chocobos in the game because you ride a dog in the Switch version, and I like that more than
I want to ride a dog.
I want to ride a dog more than I want to ride a chocobo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they announced there's going to be a big title update with Mitsune, which is a big fucking dragon looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It comes out in like 2 weeks. Like you know, I don't know what more to say about it. So that was like one of the least, because actually I thought that this presentation was pretty exciting. Like it had a lot of good stuff in it.
So they start off real, you know, this coming out.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it's a good place. I actually feel bad because I feel like Monster Hunter Wilds kind of got like a big debut, I think like 2 years ago, and then it's just been shoved in various places. Like it was in the Game Awards, it was in the Summer Games Fest, it's over here.
But it's pretty, so maybe they just want a little razzle-dazzle.
Yeah, started off with some big old monsters. Let's see, from there, we got the first trailer. I believe this is the first trailer for a new Shinobi game that's being made by the guys that made Streets of Rage 4, who did a really good job making Streets of Rage, basically bringing Streets of Rage back to life.
Yeah.
And this looks incredible. Like, I think it looks absolutely amazing. It's got this very cool hand-drawn art style, and it's this 2D action thing with just gouts of blood and katanas and fucking jumping at a guy and put your fingers together and a bunch of flames shoot out, and
it looks great.
It looks absolutely fantastic.
Some surf ninja going on there for a second.
Yep, I think that's part of one of the Shinobi games had a level where you were on like a surfboard.
That's funny.
And the cyber surfboard. So this is like literally a throwback to that. But
it looks really cool.
Everything about this, the art style is interesting because it's very kind of like loose. It's very like expressive. And I think it really works for it. It really makes it stand out. Like it looks different than if it was just like really basic. I think that this could end up kind of fading into the stack with all the rest of the games that are out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and by the way, I have all the release dates. So August 29th, 2025. A lot of these guys seem like they're banking on August and September. I think they're trying to I think they're hoping that Grand Theft Auto is like November.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody's trying to get out of the way. Like
that's very funny.
Of like, no, like there was a story last week about how Battlefield wants to put out a new game this year.
Yeah.
But Andrew Wilson was already basically tempering shareholders' expectations about like, we would like to come out in the fall. If Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out in the fall, maybe we come out in Q1 of 2025 or 2026.
Wow,
like,
that's so like
because you don't want to go up against the 500-pound gorilla.
I mean, it's fair. It's just,
and Call of Duty,
at
the same time. So, speaking of giant gorillas, Sonic Racing Crossworlds.
Yay.
A new Sonic Racing title. I think this was teased at the Game Awards. I'm now just remembering.
So just Mario Kart?
It's sort of. It's mostly Mario Kart, which I think for Sonic is fine because Sonic has enough people and dudes and levels and stuff.
They do have a lot of folks and Sonic.
You don't have to like stretch as far to get. They've already got 600 people. What is interesting though is there does seem to be this mechanic where you go into these portals and you go into different worlds.
Yeah.
So there's like the part where they go to like a dinosaur world. There's a part where they go to like a shipwreck. And there's a part where they go to like space, and Sonic's on a skateboard, and Tails is flying a car across an aircraft carrier. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah. It is also kind of funny because wouldn't Sonic be going slower in the car than he would if he just ran? And like Tails can fly, but he's in a...
actually,
I mean, I'm just trying to figure it out.
Sonic is trying to play fair. He's in a car race, not a foot race.
Yeah.
If he got out on foot, and then it's like if you put
why doesn't he cheat and just like Flintstones it? You know what I mean?
He's not a cheater. He's the protagonist. He's our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like he'd cheat.
Well, I know Sonic's a piece of shit, but like not everybody feels that same way. Yeah, they're having a network test February 21st, which is like right around the corner. So by the time you hear this, I don't know, go sign up if you want. I think Elden Ring's having their network test, and I didn't get in. Now I'm sad.
You got left out.
I feel like I want to email them and be like, but I love you.
But please.
But come on, man. Let's see. From there... This was the point where I had to send Matt the VOD for this video.
Oh, yeah?
Because we got an anime as fuck trailer for Digimon Storytime Trainer. Stranger. Strangler. What did I write? Stranger. Not the Storytime Strangler. That's a different one. That's that comic Amanda's reading.
I was going to say, it sounds real familiar.
I feel like I've seen some Digimon games, and that the last few have just been like very visual novel-esque type things. Whereas this looks like they're going like full on Pokemon Scarlet Violet. Like
I'm gonna buy this.
Oh, are you?
If it's like Pokemon but for Digimon, I absolutely love the original Digimon animated series.
They've got all your favorite generic anime looking people. The anime looking people.
Look, it's guy with a scar on his face.
But then like
girl with goggles on her head,
walking around in a big world and fighting Digimon. I don't know what's going on here. It looks a lot like the Pokemon, like the current Pokemons, where it's like you're running around and then you throw out your monster and then attack. Yeah. Even though all of these monsters are so early 2000s, it hurts. Like they're all Bionicles.
Those are they're all the like OG ones, like the whatever Gen 1.
Yeah.
I don't know if they kept going. I didn't keep up with them, but like those are all like the original characters. It was really like the starting Pokemon of Digimon. You know what I mean?
I forgot that dinosaur has titty missiles.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that is coming out at some point this year. It looks pretty good. Like looks like a next gen ass.
Better than a visual novel one.
Yeah,
I like little action.
Yeah.
I keep looking at the 2025 when it says like blah, 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 2025. And it's just like it's way in the future. Like we're not fully in 2025.
Yeah, that is this year. Well, we're only in the second month.
Yeah, but in fairness, January was like 4 months long. So
like if I was still writing checks, I still would have to remind myself in writing my checks every day to write 2025 instead of 2024 on them, because it usually took me about 4 months to finally get it.
I always remember doing that, having that problem. Every like for 2 or 3 months into the year is always the like scribble the actual date.
Yep. Make sure to initial it. They don't care. They're just cash a check. Let's see. From there, we got a new trailer for Lost Soul Aside. This is a game that's kind of been. This was made by like one guy kind of and company. And I don't think I knew very much about the story to this, but it's got this girl and she's talking about how like she had this dream about her brother and there's like a dragon.
Yeah. It was like Rock Godzilla and her brother hanging out.
Yeah. And so, Amanda, I'm just going to tell you right now that I actually think this game looks pretty good, but it also looks like the most we have Final Fantasy at home game I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, 100%.
Like the main character is wearing like a big black trench coat, but he's in a fantasy world and he's got like a little crystal dragon and people are turning it into other things. Yeah. He's got some like magics. his sister is kidnapped, and like, oh, it's explosions, the guys, and here's some cyber ninjas, there's some ladies with the boobs out.
That's also like 90% of anime.
True. Some of it is a little different. Some of it visually is different. Like I like this, like the little traversal mechanics, with the little guys, and then obviously the big Godzilla, Rock Godzilla is like a thing.
Yeah. Rockzilla, if you will.
Rockzilla, but
which is also the name of my hair metal band.
Rockzilla.
Yeah.
This has been in development for a while, and I think it was like the third or fourth last time that I saw it that I finally put together of just like, oh, this is somebody who was like, you know what, Square Enix, fuck you, I'm gonna make my own Final Fantasy game and it's gonna be fucking badass.
Yeah.
I played that stupid Noctis game and it sucked.
Sometimes some of the best games come from that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Like,
also, you know what, I'm really happy that 2023 we got all of the sequels came out and all of the stuff happened, and 2024 was like the petering remains / a very strange year. This year, new shit.
Yeah.
New shit. It's just new shit. So, and that's coming out May 30th. So it's right around the corner.
Oh, super close.
Yeah. It's been, and PC and PS5.
Ooh.
So, let's see. From there, I don't know, some of this is PSN stuff. But one of the big things is that Ichiban from the latest Like a Dragon game is going to be DLC in Dave the Diver. He's coming out to hang out with Dave the Diver. And there's also a little like
that's so stupid.
third person Streets of Rage beat 'em up with him. It's great.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's great.
I was thinking about downloading Dave the Diver.
Dave the Diver is charming and delightful.
Yeah.
Like there ain't nothing wrong with Dave the Diver. And that's coming out April of 2025.
Nice.
Amanda, I know that you don't really care, but WWE 2K25
I don't care. John cares.
Yes. Has announced The Island, which appears to just be like that PlayStation Home thing from like a million years ago, but with Razzlin.
Why do people try to make this a thing? Not even from just like a wrestling game, but like the open world to go to shops to get gear for your created character.
I can answer that question. And it's because Street Fighter 6 did it and it was very popular.
Yeah.
But
one doing it.
But what I will tell you is that
I hate it.
The place that WWE does not shine is anytime a character is not just in a ring wrestling another character, especially when you zoom up onto their faces. I don't know in the year of Satan 2025 how we think it's acceptable for these fucking mannequin wax sculptures.
They look awful.
They look like shit. I can name 4 game engines that would be better than whatever they're using.
I don't know, man.
The environments are
okay. If it were me, I wouldn't buy it. But John has the money for this, so that's up to him.
So this is, just to be clear, this is a mode where you can play online with up to 50 different people, and you're in a kind of like a shared environment that's like this fucking island, and you can go around and you can wrestle and you can buy stuff and you can explore and you can have an adventure, and
I promise you,
go nuts.
Not only do I not have 50 friends, I don't have 50 different wrestling friends. And if I were to have 50 friends, I wouldn't want them to be wrestling friends.
Oh, no. This is like Grand Theft Auto Online. This is for 50 randos. Yeah.
Oh, you know what's the worst people on the internet, online?
You and 49 wrestling randos.
Wrestling fans? WWE wrestling fans? Nah, I'm good. I'll stay home on this one.
I will give you $20 to make a lady wrestler get on this and turn on whatever voice communications there are.
We have to record it
for 30 seconds.
We will. No, I will do that for $20. We have to do a Twitch stream in which that is 100% what happens is that we make a girl.
Yep.
I'm on my.
Yep.
But I need witnesses because it gets scary real fast.
Sure. Yeah. No, do it over here. Let my IP address. Some wackadoo shows up at my house. He's like, "Where's that girl that was playing a video game?"
It's
I'm like,
me. I'm the girl.
I don't know what you're talking about. You have like a mental illness, or are you at my house?
100% be like, hang on, and then close the door, and then put on a wig, and then come back out and be like, "It's me."
What if I instead of that? What if I close the door, just put a yellow T-shirt on my head, and then go, "Hi, it's me, a pretty girl. I'm on the internet."
I definitely want to be friends with you.
Oh God. Oh geez. Speaking of creepy weirdos, Randy Pitchford is here.
Yay.
To give us a trailer for Borderlands 4. I know I said that there was some stuff that was excited me in here, but it was not these. Borderlands 4 looks exactly like every other Borderlands game, but slightly higher resolution. Why are you guys still playing Borderlands? Why is Borderlands a thing?
And we have to do this every time.
Yep.
Like, we like something, we talk about it.
Yep.
We hate something, we talk about it.
Yep.
We feel indifferent. Just, this is a game. This is when the game comes out.
No, I'm gonna be clear here. This is worse than that because at least in like a trailer for Borderlands, what they would show you would be the powers that the main characters have, because that's what sets them apart.
Yeah.
Each one of the characters has like a special power and an ult and something they can do. I can't tell what the fuck is happening here. It's just a light show of cel-shaded ding-dongs shooting at each other and like colored lights.
Oh man, Borderlands would be so much better if they were actual ding-dongs.
If there was a mod,
general jousting, but like, but Borderlands characters.
Maybe is that what's underneath the stupid,
the hockey mask looking thing?
Yeah,
that they wear?
psycho mask. Anyway, so they said they're going to have
straight dick face.
They're going to have a. They're going to have a larger. They're going to have a larger show at some point where they show off what I just asked about. Okay, and then also they made a big deal out of the release date because they hadn't announced it yet.
Yeah.
September.
September
23rd.
Wow, they're going to ruin my birthday month?
Yep.
My birth month?
Well, I mean, there's some other stuff coming out in September. Well, we got some other September.
Better be good stuff.
Actually, there's only one other thing I can see that's coming out in September. So,
better be good stuff.
Fucking Randy Pitchford, man. He looks like, look at this shirt that we can't go down that road. We will be here all day.
Yeah, Jeff and I have agreed that we are professional shit talkers.
Yep.
So but that's for a different podcast.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Something good.
Yes.
Something good. In fact, something good.
I was promised good.
Something good that, if everything works out, may end up being something really good.
Ooh.
So, Josef Fares' next game is called Split Fiction. And his first game was about two brothers, and his second game was about a married couple, and his third game is about two ladies in the future that go to a writing workshop.
And they get sucked into their fiction, right?
They get sucked into like this brain link where they're in each other's fiction, and they have to work together to get out. And so half of it is like sci-fi, and the other half is fantasy, and they're learning and growing and also doing mini games. And sometimes you're like a hot dog. It
happens to the best of us.
Man, It Takes Two was really good. And Brothers was good when it came out. I don't know about the remake, but it was good. But this also looks incredible. It looks just like very similar to It Takes Two. In this trailer, what you can't hear is they're talking about like how the individual stories that they're in, they're talking about like their inspirations, about the places in their life that they took them from and stuff. And the graphics all look really nice. Like the gameplay all looks fun as shit. They've got the whole like, here's a mechanic, use it for 10 minutes. Okay, goodbye. Here's another mechanic, use it for 10 minutes. Goodbye. But the big thing with this was that there was no release date for it.
Oh.
And it looks like it's coming out on the beginning of March.
Oh,
so
super soon.
What I'm hoping, and nobody's agreeing to anything, what I'm hoping is that if Michael and I get done with Shadows of the Damned Remastered, which is very short, that you and I could maybe play this, because I really like his games, and you got to play them co-op anyway. Yeah. So might as well.
This is really going to work out for you, Jeff. You and I have a great track record of playing co-op games.
Well, not only that, but these are like intensely co-op.
Yeah.
But then you remember, I don't know if you watched Matt and I play It Takes Two, but do you remember there was the part where they decided that the little girl's imaginary friend was the one who had trapped them in the bodies, and then they just brutally murdered
Yes.
her imaginary friend.
I don't know if I saw it when it was like released, the video, or if you were. I came over to record, and you're like, you have to watch this.
You need to watch what happened in this game, because this guy's a crazy man. Like, he's great.
I love it.
So yeah, Split Fiction looks great. Also, here's another cool one.
Yeah.
We got a full trailer, something we haven't heard of for quite a while, which is Directive 8020. So Directive 8020 is the latest game from Supermassive Games that did the Quarry and Until Dawn and all those things. But this one's a sci-fi game.
Ooh.
So it's set on a big spaceship, and like there's some kind of alien life form that's on the spaceship. But Amanda, this alien life form appears to kind of be like a distant relative to John Carpenter's The Thing, in that it keeps turning into people and also eating people, and nobody's sure who's who.
Everyone's
real.
tired, and nobody trusts each other anymore.
And like it's an Among Us, but it's a single player game where you don't have to. You don't have to make your own Among Us. And it's got all of the Supermassive stuff. This one looks so much better than most of the stuff they've been putting out recently, where it's like. So I like sci-fi horror, and I don't feel like we get enough of it. So
agreed. I like watching people scream in space. That's all I want in this world.
I've watched Event Horizon so many times.
I watch Event Horizon so often that I don't have to watch Event Horizon anymore because it's in here.
I can just play it
in my head. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's plenty of movies that I do that with.
So you can see a little bit of the a little bit of the monstery guys. They're just kind of like weird.
Yeah, that lady looked like she saw herself and was like, "Well, I'm only going to get this opportunity once," and leaned in.
Yeah, but it looks good, which is good because they've been okay-ish for a while, and I think they took a year off kind of to do this. So, and there's some like straight up thingy looking stuff in here. So, October 2nd. Also, I like the fact that it is a Dark Pictures game and not Dark Pictures Anthology Directive 8020. It's like they're putting the game front and center instead of that weird branding. So yeah, I think it looks really good. Okay. We were on a bit of a roll. Next up, there's a new FNAF game. Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. In this one, you're playing as like a guy that's in a. They made like an endoskeleton that can change forms to go into different suits, because apparently in the Fazbear universe this is like Alzheimer's medication in any superhero movie. Like making an endoskeleton for a birthday party is like that shit will make you rich as fuck. Like if you can
oh my gosh.
So it's a brand new bunch of weirdo mascots, and this seems very similar to the last game that was like first person, like that was in a mall, and here you're kind of in this warehouse and you're doing puzzles, and it kind of
reminds me of Poppy Playtime, oddly enough.
I can see that. It
looks like they went, Poppy Playtime can't take this from us.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that with this very specific mimic character going around.
Yeah.
Is it weird though too that I'm not as interested in the least about FNAF properties since MatPat retired? Like I don't.
No, 100% agree. I'm right there with you, and it's sad because like game theory
is still a thing.
Is still around.
Yeah.
But like, not MatPat is not MatPat. So
yeah.
MatPat retired, and I was like, I guess me too.
Well, I just want to hear him say the stuff. If they got somebody that sounded exactly like MatPat, then I would maybe listen to that. But like, I've listened to that one voice and script cadence for years, and it's like, I tried out a lot of those other channels. I tried watching more Food Theory. I tried watching more of the other. I fell off of the Film Theory way earlier than Game Theory.
I fell off of the Film Theory when MatPat was still doing it, because I was like, this isn't really what I was looking for. And mostly
with Game Theory, I was mostly just watching the FNAF episodes because it was like, here's an indie horror game, and I spent way too much time on this game on Amanda the Adventurer. And we talk about it for 30 minutes, and part of it was like, I'll listen to MatPat talk about something for 30 minutes, but I don't want to play that game.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, and that's coming out June 13th, right around the corner. Let's see. From there, we got another trailer for the Midnight Walk.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the stop animation looking ones, right?
Yeah. So, like, the characters are I think they're very stylized to look like stop animation.
Is it like, what was that other game we played where you're like a dude in an underwater ship where they scan everything's made three-dimensional, but they scan it so it's all digitally animated? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Harold Halibut.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like that, or if I don't know if they're just putting it's hard to tell because the game is so dark.
Yeah.
The big thing that I didn't really understand is I think that you're like, there's the little pot guy that has like the last flames in this world.
Yeah.
And then you're like following him around trying to like keep him safe from everybody that's trying to steal the flame.
Yeah.
Which it explains a lot because the game also works in VR. Mm-hmm. It also has a PSVR mode, and it's like, okay, so you can play it with a controller, you can play it as VR.
Yeah.
There's also something in here where they talk about, there's like a level where they talk about having like a close your eyes sequence, kind of an SCP-173 type of thing.
Yeah.
Tilt that down. But I like everything that I'm seeing. It's just one of those games where it's like the visuals are top notch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I just need to know if it's a fun game to play, because sometimes we have games that look real nice but then are like to play.
That's true. It looks fun enough from the clips I'm seeing, although it does just look like boss battle next to a boss battle. So
yeah, I don't know. I
wonder what the like chain in between all that is.
It also depends. Also, I don't think I hope that, I mean, I know people probably aren't the biggest fans of when I say this stuff, but like, I also hope it's short, because I don't think I want to be looking at this for like 40
it's
hours.
Not pretty enough for me to look at it that long.
Yeah.
This looks like the kind of kids books my mom used to buy us when we were kids.
Kind of a combination of like Nightmare Before Christmas and the Mad God.
Yeah.
had the ugliest baby in the world. But yeah, it's coming out on May 8th.
Yeah. I only make my toys out of rotted wood.
Oh, okay. I got another one that I think you'll like.
Yeah.
Konami, of all people, announced this game. I've never heard of this before, called Darwin's Paradox. And in Darwin's Paradox, you play as a little octopus.
So cute.
That accidentally gets like caught by fishermen, and then you're like going through like the fish plant.
Yeah.
But it turns out that like the fish plant is run by evil aliens who are trying to like take over the world, and you're trying to stop them. But then also, I don't know if you saw that, but there's a mechanic where like you see
shoot
him
ink, or
where you see him sneaking, and then when the guy turns, there's a button to camouflage where he looks like a can, or like he's blending into the ground.
Yeah.
But then also, there's a little ink like thing underwater, and you can kind of roll across the ground, and it looks really fucking charming, right?
This looks amazing. It's oh god, what were those games like? Inside.
Yeah.
But with a colorful squid.
Like a little goofy squid guy.
I'm in.
It's very expressive.
Yeah.
It's very expressive. And it looks like it's got a lot of like kind of cool platforming, because you can stick to stuff because you got little stickers. So yeah, looks good.
Yeah, it does look really fun.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see. From there, oh my god, we're almost out of time.
Uh-oh.
We're pretty much out of time, but we're going to do a few more because we still got a lot to go through here. Warriors Abyss is a new game. This was and it's out today, and I didn't actually realize that it was out today. This is from the team that makes Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, it looks like it.
But it's like a top-down Diablo-style roguelike. And it also looks a lot like a phone game. But apparently it's got pretty good reviews. And but I think it's right now, it's one of those like $30 for early access, and then it'll go free to play type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Looks neat, I guess.
I got the current Dynasty Warriors that came out like 3 weeks ago if I really wanted to play Dynasty Warriors.
That's true.
Let's see. You know what? We'll finish up with Onimusha. So because this will be relatively quick. Last week at a Capcom thing, they already announced that they're re-releasing Onimusha 2. Which was a PS2 game from a million years ago.
Okay, good. I was like, this doesn't look nice.
Yeah. No, this is a PS2
old,
game.
It's an old game. Okay,
good. Yeah. And they've done all this stuff where it's like we up-resed everything. It's got modern controls that you can save whenever you want to.
Yeah.
It's easier to play. But, that. But then the other big thing was the new trailer for Onimusha Way of the Sword, which... Yeah, they had, which shows this kind of, I don't know, it's interesting. We were talking last week about how Capcom kind of took all the low-hanging fruit. They made a new Resident Evil, they made a new Devil May Cry, they made a new Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And I was like, now you got to dig a little deeper, Capcom. And so
this is the year to dig a little deeper, though.
Yeah, try something new, Capcom. Get out there. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Make it so your feet don't touch the ground. But this trailer is funny because it's very dour of this kind of samurai guy like walking down walking up to this temple, and he's very just like, and he kind of yells at these demons, and then but he also looks like he's kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Like he has some kind of goofiness to him, and his fighting. When they actually show the fighting, it looks very, very kinetic. It's very cool. There's a lot of environmental stuff where, like, at one point he picks up the tatami mat and then kind of kicks it at guys. At one point he knocks a guy into like fabric, and then he can't see, and he's hitting his friends. At one point he knocks a guy into like a torch, and he got set on fire. So it looks like, because originally Onimusha was just kind of Resident Evil with a sword.
Yeah.
But it looks like they're kind of expanding it. Capcom has been really good, though, recently about just like making gameplay fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this definitely looks fun.
Yeah, it looks real kinetic. Well, I think it looks a lot like Kunitsu no Gami, the game from last year, where it's like a tower defense thing where you have to have this lady and she has to move up to a gate.
Yeah.
I feel like over the last few years, I said this last week, but I'll say it again. Over the last few years, Capcom was like, you guys want a new Onimusha game? Here's a new game that's like Onimusha. And everybody was like, boo.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you guys want a new Dino Crisis game? Here's a game that's like Dino Crisis. Everyone's like, boo. Just bring back the name brand thing, man.
Yeah. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break.
Yay.
Yeah. When we come back, we got more.
So much more.
We got a little bit more. We got through most of it. We got about half. Also, there's like 15 to 20 news stories, but we're not going to do all of those. So I promise now that we're not going to do everything, but we're going to do as much as we can. So stick around, and we'll be right back in just a minute.
Here we are.
And Amanda, before we move on, I just briefly thought that I would point something out.
Yes.
So I don't know if you know this, but the Onimusha series has a reputation for using real life people as their protagonists. Onimusha 1 and 2 used a very famous
like people
model.
from history, or like actors that
like actors and people. So Onimusha 1 and 2 used this very famous model from Japan, and he was like very recognizable if you know anything about Japan.
Yeah.
Onimusha 3 had Jean Reno in it. And it looks exactly like Jean Reno, and it was voiced by Jean Reno.
Yeah, sure.
There's a weird thing where like Jean Reno and the guy in the past switch places. So the samurai from the past is now in like Paris, and Jean Reno is now in feudal Japan with a gun or something.
I'm in.
This guy, the guy in the new one, is actually the digital likeness of a deceased actor named Toshiro Mifune. And what's interesting is that he is playing the character Musashi Miyamoto. That Samurai 1 movie was the story of that historical
why
character
you watched it?
Played by that actor. Yes. That was why I went to go watch it. And it's interesting, though, because I do think that this is the first time
and you got like 20 minutes in and we're like, I'll just play the game.
I think I'll just wait for the game. But it's interesting to see. I actually think it brings up an interesting ethical question, the idea of using because like, wow, the synergy on that you're using, because then the historical character, the Musashi Miyamoto, was an actual person. Like he was apparently the guy that first developed fighting with two swords, so like a katana and then like a shorter sword. Can you imagine
being the first guy that had two swords in their hand, and people are just like, hang on a minute,
now wait a whoa,
wait just a minute.
But then this actor portrayed that character, and then that character is this character in the trailer. They showed that was that same historical character, and then it's being portrayed by this famous actor who did this. He was also in like The Seven Samurai and a whole shitload of other movies.
Like recognize him.
But the question I think that's interesting for a few seconds is like the ethics of using the likeness of a deceased person if their estate is okay with it. Like, and I mean, this isn't like an AI thing or anything. This is just like this falls in the same realm of like, is it ethical to have a hologram of Tupac on stage when he's dead type of thing, or is he?
Or he was there. I saw him. I think if they're okay, if like the estate is okay with it,
if his family's okay with it,
and there's also like a time limit thing to me too, where like people almost become public domain a little bit, where it's like
so you're telling me that it's going to be morally okay for me to make my Bela Lugosi vampire video game?
Yes. First of all, I also think Bela Lugosi was such a narcissist.
He would be so down for
anything with him in it, just as long as he's like sexy.
Yes.
So I think Bela Lugosi loves himself. Nobody loves Bela Lugosi more.
We're gonna make our Monster Squad video game with Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff as the Wolfman.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I think you'd have a harder time with Boris Karloff.
Probably so. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Let's see. From there, this is a little bit of a mulligan. Last week, Sony posted the Metal Gear Delta release date trailer on they made it public on their YouTube page.
They didn't mean to.
And then they took it down, but everybody just copied it, and they weren't dicks about it. They didn't like
they're like, oh no, I hope nobody screenshot anything.
Like other like IGN took a mirror of it, just put it on their thing.
There's a point where you just gotta get the hits.
So we talked about it last week. I don't know, I'm semi-excited, but I'm also getting a little tired of all of these remakes that are all in the same engine because they look a little similar. So
they do. You can
go back to last week if you want to hear more about that. Is that they lose a little bit of the individual style when they're all using the Unreal Engines, Lumen and Nanite and their lighting and engine and their skin engine and their textures and stuff. Everybody, like, I think the way I described it with Michael was that, like, as video games look more and more like reality, the style differences between them starts to converge because they're all just trying to look like real life. Whereas it used to be that like a Square Enix game and a Capcom game and a Konami game all looked very different. And now they're all starting to use the same engine. They're all starting to look very similar. So
yeah, I get that.
Anyway, that was August as well. Also there was an Ape Escape like sub game in there. What was interesting is that there's a Microsoft trailer on the Microsoft channel, and they do not own Ape Escape, so they're getting a Bomberman sub mini game type of thing.
That's fun.
Let's see. After that, we saw a new trailer for Hell Is Us. This is the game that most people probably know as looking an awful lot like Death Stranding, because the main character has a baseball cap and then like a hood over it, like kind of a poncho. Even though it's much more of like a third-person action game with some kind of creepy horror elements to it.
Weird looking.
Yeah, very uncanny. Just like it's like this guy that's going back to his hometown, and there's been this kind of like weird apocalypse type of event, and there's like these kind of strange creatures and energies and weird shit going on.
Yeah,
I'm interested. This is one that's being made by a very small team. I talking about art styles, I think this stands out because it's got some very striking visuals.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of Returnal as well. Like it kind of like is like a smoosh together of the weird alien landscape of Eternal.
Did we see a trailer or something from this before? I feel like I remember the void face.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there have been a few trailers, and you were probably on when we had one. We have not seen that curly haired dude with the curliest of curly hair.
He looks like he's wearing a wig.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I'm like, everything looks really good, and then I keep getting jump scared by that guy's
But fucking bozo hair.
I don't know. Yeah. Like Richard Simmons hair going on.
Yeah. And that has a release date as well now of September 4th.
Yeah,
so
a couple days after my birthday.
So that's the other one that you get in September for your birthday.
Yay.
There you go.
Hell is me for my birthday.
After that, we got a trailer for Lies of P Overture, which is, I believe, I saw a prequel in a headline, but I'm not sure if it is or not.
Yeah.
But it's some kind of DLC that deals with some other disconnected story in the Lies of P universe. It appears to take place in this very snowy, kind of wintry area.
Yeah.
Like the Pinocchio guy's wearing like a big kind
that
of furry
looks like
coat.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. I tried real hard to get into Lies of P, and I kind of got once it started getting hard, I was like, I don't want to play it this much.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy, like, it was a big success for the studio that made it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a really creative thing to be like, what if Pinocchio was Bloodborne?
Yeah.
Is a great idea. I think they've got a hell of an art department, and the action all looks really amazing.
Yeah. It looks really good. It looks.
Yeah. It had a very interesting kind of like, an interesting mechanic where you could switch out like the handle and then the blades on your weapons and they had different effects. So you could kind of make your own like weapon that acted a certain way. But yeah, I like this part at the end where they've got a very just anime, I'm slicing you up 1 billion times.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep, and that's coming out summer.
But that
this
does
year.
look like Timothy Chalamet, and I can't.
Like a
get
little
over it.
baby Chalamet.
Yeah, like young-
baby Chalamet. It's supposed to be the hair again.
Timothy.
If we put that weird afro on him, he would look anything like Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. You give him a mustache, he'd look like him now.
After that, we got Dreams of Another, which is a game by someone named Bayon. I don't know what that is. It's a pixel junk game. It looks very artsy. Apparently, it's about like a soldier, and like the world is made up of these kind of like bubbles, and the whole point of it is that you use a gun to shoot the world into existence.
Do you remember the game where we're in the dark and we scan the pixels? This is the same vibe as that.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing about it though is that I don't understand what actually you do in the game.
You slap a clown, apparently.
Slap a clown with some cash.
Yeah.
Is that like it's got some very like artsy fartsy like talking about destruction and human life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, what do you do?
Yeah, but what?
Do you just shoot the world into existence and then watch a cutscene? Because that's less interesting to me.
Yeah, I need to know if I'm making the scenario in which somebody is slapping a clown, or if I am the person slapping the clown.
Yes.
Am I the clown getting slapped?
Yes.
These are all important questions.
These are very important questions. And that's coming out sometime this year. After that, we got the announcement of Days Gone Remastered. So if you wanted a dirty biker zombie game, that you
guys
got
still
it.
Going hard on the zombie stuff, huh?
Yeah, I think that for this one, it's more of a question of like Sony. I don't think it's that hard to do these things where they're like, this is an upgrade.
Yeah.
So if you get on the PS5, it looks better because they already put out a PC version. It's got a bunch of, it's got these dumbass, they're like, ooh, there's a permadeath mode and a score attack mode and accessibility features. And I'm like, okay, but is it fun now or no?
So did you like make it a fun game, or are you keeping that part? Is there a fun mode?
Yeah. Is there a fun mode? I don't know. I didn't. This game didn't click with me at all. It was just very tedious.
Yeah.
But I don't think it costs them very much to do this, especially because they even say that like if you own the upgrade of the PS4 if you own the PS4 version, you can upgrade for $10, and it's like you know, if you already have the PC version,
I guess it's nice if you're like a fan and you want it.
Yeah.
You know, sure.
It's also got the DLC.
Not mad at y'all for getting an upgraded version of something, but like, boy, does that not look enjoyable to me.
April 25th. Well, the big thing when it was originally announced was the number of zombies.
Yeah.
Because you would have these just hordes of like Daisy,
like
floods
waves of zombies.
Yeah. And so it was more about like escaping that. But that's a concept. I don't know. That's a concept that requires more. I need more than that.
Didn't enjoy the
Daisy
stuff. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Stellar Blade is getting some new DLC. With Nike Goddess of Victory, which I think is like a mobile game where you have a bunch of paramilitary waifus. I think that's the one I'm thinking of.
It's the most American thing I've ever heard.
I think it's like Korean.
No, I know, but you know, like just paramilitary babes.
If that's no, I'm thinking of a different one. There's one of them where it's like, oh yeah, it's the future, and we've made these artificial soldiers, but they all look like waifus, and then you're the commander in charge of them. But then, as you show that you care about them, they start to have feelings for you, and then you all go to the beach and they wear swimsuits or whatever. It's
ladies, you're AI. You can't possibly fall in love with me.
I mean, look at the fucking panties over here, just right in the middle of this thing. Anyway, this is the perfect crossover with Stellar Blade.
Yeah,
this is perfect.
Makes sense.
There's going to be some new content. Also, they announced that the PC version is coming out at the same time, June of this year.
I don't like the PC version because modders will get in there and make everything naked.
Yeah, well, they were going to do that anyway. Blueprints is a game that is blue, the color, and Prince like the son of the king. Blueprints.
Yeah. Oh, I thought Prince like Purple Rain.
Is an interesting game where it's a puzzle game, but you place, like, it's in a weird house, but then you place the rooms in the house strategically to solve puzzles, which seems like an interesting idea.
Yeah, I like the concept.
Makes the name make more sense because it's Blueprints.
Yeah. Better than fingerprints.
That's true. Yeah, and that has a release date of spring of this year.
Ooh.
One of my faves, Abiotic Factor, the crazy Half-Life game that I was obsessed with like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It now has a console release date and is coming to the PlayStation.
You gonna replay it
this summer? No, I haven't gone back to it because I know that if I do, I've got like 4 games that I want to be playing right now.
That's definitely stopped you from replaying something you enjoy.
I know. But I'm like halfway through that Kingdom Come Deliverance game, and I'm not going to stop until I'm done.
That's fair.
So, yeah, but that's coming this summer.
Yeah.
Let's see. After that, we got a game called Tides of Annihilation, which is like a post-apocalyptic London where you play as Gwendolyn from like the Knights of the Round Table, Immortal or something, but then it's all very like Near Automata or kind of JRPG, but it's like a third-person action game. It was hard. It was a very dramatic trailer. Like everybody was talking real dramatic about everything. But it appears to be like a third-person action game that's got some interesting... Like everything I'm seeing here looks great. Like, let me just be clear. Everything I'm seeing here looks great.
Yeah.
Big set pieces, giant enemies, very interesting enemy designs, some kind of like Sekiro /
you know, weird
Souls
vibe
fights.
I got off of it, like right away with the sword thing.
What's that?
Witchblade from the 90s comic book.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
I could kind of see that. Even though Witchblade was wearing significantly fewer clothes than the main character here.
Yeah, the cover always had more clothes than the inside of the book. But yeah, no, you just I don't know why it just like struck me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like people hitting each other with impossible amounts of like blades and giant dudes saying stuff. Actually, I tell you what, it's got a lot of Elden Ring vibes to it as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that with all the like big monsters and people on horses and.
But then it keeps going back to the city.
Yeah,
like when it's in kind of the medieval like world.
You're like, yeah.
But it's an interesting like, I'd never heard of this. It came out of nowhere. It looks like it's got a pretty good degree of quality. It looks like it could be really fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by it, honestly.
Nice art style, again, kind of a good melange of different things that are kind of popular right now.
Yeah, I really like that we live in a day and age where people are really having fun with like mythology and even kind of creating their own, taking, I don't know, just these larger than life characters.
Yeah.
I just like it.
Yeah, no,
it feels like not a lot of games were doing it before, and now it's like a lot of games do it.
Yeah. I feel like as I watched this, I feel like we are very there's like a pendulum that goes back and forth between whether we're into like science fiction or fantasy.
Yeah.
And right now it's real over the sci-fi side of things.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I'm a sci-fi girl over a fantasy girl, so
that's my shit.
Hell yeah.
Also, I feel like a lot of developers these days are like, put a hot babe in it.
Yeah.
Like, because Stellar Blade sold crazy good with a hot babe in it. So we'll see if
Who doesn't like a hot babe?
We'll see if we're in the hot babe summer of video games.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. It got to the next game and fucking freaked me out.
Yeah, this is called Metal Eden. And I got to tell you, Amanda, that all of the cutscenes that are not the game look really interesting because they're all like violent and futuristic and they've got a hot babe.
Bloody and
then you see the game and it's like a first-person shooter that looks okay-ish.
Yeah,
like,
that wall runny thing, I hate it.
Yeah. Hardcore parkour.
I don't know if I'm just too stupid or like my thumbs are dumber, but like I can't do it. Any game that has that, I'm just like, but buttons don't work anymore.
I need to hit a button when I get to the wall.
I fucking hate it. I don't know why. I can do anything else, but you make me run on that wall, fuck it. I will jump into the chasm beneath.
Yeah, because it looks kind of like sci-fi Doom a little bit.
Yeah.
But with like more, like robots and fewer demons.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's fun. I guess the thing is that this is one of those ones where it's like, I have no way of knowing from a sizzle trailer what I think about this. I need to know specifics of the story, and I need to hear some voice acting, and I need to feel what it's like in my hands with a demo in order to really evaluate one way or the other.
Yeah, I think that's fair. You're not asking for too much, Jeff.
Just give me everything but the actual video game right now, and I will tell you whether I'm interested in your video game or not.
I think that's fair.
That's
I don't
know. And then we've got a set of trailers, which are kind of interesting. This is a game that we've heard about a long time ago called Mind's Eye. It's made by a company with a real silly name called like Rocket Boy.
Build a Rocket Boy, which I thought was the name of the game, and I was like hyped for a second.
Yeah, but then IOI, the makers of Hitman, are publishing this.
Oh.
So I guess as they went.
So does that mean you're like emotionally obligated to invest some time into it?
No, but it means that I'll give it a second look, because when you look at it, it looks it's very weird. I've seen one trailer for this before. It's got this very paramilitary thing, but then it's got some what is reality things. But then what it actually is Grand Theft Auto. It's like you're in a city.
How you don't sell a game.
You're like a soldier, and there's like this weird implants that do like weird cyber stuff. But it's like you've come home. This could all be wrong. I'm just gleaning this from the trailer. But then they have a lot of kind of imagery that's going on right here. But then when they show the actual game, it's like driving around in LA.
Interesting.
And then like a third person shooting. But then in between, it's got these kind of cutscenes. The cutscenes all look really nice.
Yeah, I mean,
And this kind of cyber paramilitary thing, and the fact that IO saw something in it that they were like, yeah, we want to throw some money at this intrigues me. But if it wasn't for that, I would be putting this a lot lower on my watch out for this game list, because it looks super generic.
It does look very generic. I am kind of interested in the idea behind it, though. The like, is it, they get sent out on missions and come back and you're getting between these two worlds, or is it like flashbacks of something they did while they were soldiers? And then
I think the soldier stuff looks like it's backstory, because they have a second trailer that was just like gameplay, and it was all just sliding into cover behind cars and shooting at people and then driving muscle car. I like shit we've seen in a million video games. You're driving down a street, you're fucking power sliding.
You're not gonna sell me on just them driving in a cool car,
or like I ran up behind a pillar and like took cover and then shot at somebody with a machine gun. It's like, okay, but why do I care? Like there's a lot of games like this. Most games these days need some kind of pitch, right? And it's also maybe worth pointing out that it's supposed to come out at some point this year, and this is not taking a shot at the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer by any stretch of the imagination. This looks like a very nice looking version of the last Saints Row game, basically. More serious than that. So, but I don't know. Again, I could be biased just because I love Hitman so much, and I know this isn't Hitman, but I'm hoping that IO, we'll see. I've never seen them publish a game before. So I don't even know if they have a good eye for quality because they've never done it. So it could just be like, oh, you guys suck at this.
You guys really need to figure out how to pick them.
Yep. And then finally, our last trailer was for a game called Saros. This is a game that is from Housemarque. This guy's a famous actor. The main guy.
I saw him react to the trailer. Which is kind of funny.
He looks so this is a game that is apparently like Returnal, where it's like a third-person action game, except that this guy, he's on this planet with this giant eclipse that happens, and whenever the eclipse happens, it's like shit starts popping off. Like in the trailer, he kind of wakes up on a beach. He looks like a hell diver with like a big gold chain.
He does have like a giant medallion.
But then he walks out, he wakes up on the beach, he stands up with his gun, and then like out of the ocean comes like this.
Who comes out of the ocean hands first?
Well, this colossal like Shiva the Destroyer, six-armed like god that this guy's gonna apparently just attack with a shotgun.
8 arms.
Was that 8 arms?
That is 8 arms.
Oh yeah.
They got
the
2 little doodly doos on the bottom.
But then like it zooms up in on his eyes, and you see the patterns of like a bunch of bullets, like in Returnal. You know how it's like bullet hell. But as a third person thing, and I was like, oh. Because I know that Housemarque really, that's what they do. Most of their games are some kind of bullet hell game, but Returnal was too hard for me. I didn't have fun playing it. I wasn't interested in bashing my head up against it. Everything about the iconography of this, we talked about style before, whole stylist trailer, fucking nails it.
But it says right in the little thing underneath, not actual gameplay footage.
There's that.
So
yes,
it ain't gonna look like this.
Yes. But, this is more just like, if that's the character and this is the vibe, I'm in for that character and that vibe. Like, I'm in for also that weird. But again, it was very frustrating with Returnal, because I don't know if you remember Returnal, where it was like the woman that crash landed on an alien planet, and it's like she was going through a death loop. But then every so often you go through a door and there'll just be like a house from the Midwest. And I was like, I really want to know what happens here, but the game is too fucking hard. I can't. I just like, I don't know.
Matt Pat, come back.
Yes.
Tell me,
Matt Pat. So yeah, and that's next year anyway. So
we have time to worry.
But yeah, I don't know. Plenty of good stuff in there that I'm totally interested in.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff that looked really interesting.
More than not. I mean, I think that WWE 2K and Borderlands 4 were probably the least interesting things in that entire presentation. Oh, and Sonic Racing. Don't forget about Sonic Racing. You guys.
I won't.
Don't pretend.
I've pre-ordered it.
Don't pretend like I know Sonic Racing, because I don't. Okay. Well, that's the Sony thing.
Yay.
We have 20 minutes.
Oh, my God.
To get through these stories.
1 minute per story.
Now, I cut a lot of stories this week, and so we're going to zip through this pretty fast because I do think that some people probably tune into this podcast to actually hear what news happened. So,
oh, sorry, guys. Sorry about that.
All right. Last weekend, the PlayStation Network was down for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it really pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah. Well, they took a long time to... I don't even know if they ever really came out and said anything.
They did not. They brought it back up, and then they came out and they gave people, like, I think a week worth of free PS Plus or extending your PS Plus. But the big thing here, at least at the time of recording this podcast, is that they have not at all addressed what happened. Mm-hmm. And that makes people really nervous because, what was it, 2011 or 2012, the PSN had a huge data breach where a lot of data got out into the wild. And, like, if I need to change my fucking password,
I'd like to
tell
know,
me that.
as soon as it happens.
So, but this is also a good reminder to everybody to go into, if you have a PlayStation 5 and you buy stuff digitally, there's a setting that you can say that says, like, let me play my games offline, and you have to tick it before you can play your games offline.
Yeah.
I was trying to play that Kingdom Come game when I was drunk, and I didn't want to open. And it was like, we can't verify that you own this. And I was drunk. So I was like, you can't tell me what to do. And so I just kept jamming on the button. And eventually I got enough to just start the game.
That's amazing.
Like I wasn't trying to play.
Fuck it. Just let him play. It'll shut him up.
Yeah. We can hear through his console that he's going to be a belligerent asshole. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's see. We also saw a bunch of PSN games that got removed last week.
Yeah.
There's been that should surprise no one. There's been a big problem that's been happening recently where what you would call AI slop games have been created using a bunch of generated assets to make really, really low effort garbage games and then like slap them on there. The Nintendo eShop and Sony's PSN are both pretty lousy with them.
Yeah.
But apparently last week IGN did a big report on it and a bunch of them got taken down from the PSN. Not all of them, but like this company Random Spin put out 35 games last year.
Jesus.
And you have to say, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if there's just, you say, hey, man, if you're going to put out more than 5 games in a year, you got to get special fucking permission.
Yeah.
Like, you can't publish 5 games in a year.
They got to be reviewed.
They have to, and after that, we have to make sure that you're not just like putting bullshit on this thing. But what's irritating about this is that Sony, of course, takes money for every game that gets sold on their store.
Yeah.
And part of the contract that we as consumers should have is that you don't let people sell us trash.
Yeah.
There's a reason. If I wanted trash, I'd go to Steam and click all releases. That's where the trash is.
Oh, Steam.
But actually, it's even worse on the Nintendo, and they haven't really done anything about it.
Yeah.
There was I think part of this article they had like a list of like the holiday like Christmas games that were on there, and it was just this huge, it was nothing but like AI generated, oh no, that's a different one.
Yeah.
AI generated like screenshots. Some of them were even like what was I gonna say like a visual novel. So you just generate the background and then you generate the foreground and then you use ChatGPT to write the text in between, and it's just like, well, I didn't have to do shit.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
There was one too that is last week that I took off. Oh, I wonder if I can find it. It was on the Xbox, and it was basically it was a soccer game, and the entire like thumbnail for it was Mario, making it look like a Mario soccer game.
Yeah.
And it was also called like Super Mabibo Soccer or something like that. And it was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So apparently though, not such a problem on the Xbox. I don't know. We'll see.
Good job, Xbox.
Overwatch has some new shit happening. Overwatch 2. So there was a 30-minute presentation. The big thing, I'm just going to roll down some of this stuff. So you remember when Overwatch was going to have a single player mode, and then you were going to get to like level up, and you could choose like a perk between like this or that. They're actually adding that into characters in the actual competitive mode, where like once you get enough stuff, you can choose like a perk. So you can modify your heroes one way or another. Or you can like you'd be like, oh, either you do X more damage, or oh, you get the special attack that you didn't have before. So it's nice to see them taking the thing that they promised us and then like cannibalizing it back into the game that they already sold us.
Wasn't it free?
A new round-based thing that's kind of like a Counter-Strike mode that also has a third-person option, which like I guess and then Overwatch Classic is coming back, but with the specific team comp that was 3 tanks, 3 healers, was like a specific type of game that was apparently popular for a little while during Overwatch 1. I think that these stupid motherfuckers should like either let Overwatch Classic be a thing. Don't keep bringing it back like the McRib assholes. Like, don't put it in the vault like Disney. Just fucking like let me have it, and I would consider logging into your dumbass video game. Got a new character called Freya that's kind of like a Viking-esque lady.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Viking-esque redhead with a crossbow. And then there's a new one called Aqua that just looks like a Avatar The Last Airbender bender person. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Just like a water bender.
Yeah, he does.
And then I don't know. I think the character designs on Overwatch are starting to go downhill. Like the last guy they had was that big like punk rock guy with the crystals on him, and he looked like dick.
Yeah, I don't think I've been impressed. I used to be like hyped about the designs, and now I'm just like, it went hype, kind of. They look okay, and now I'm just like, oh, they look like background characters.
I like
Juno.
Else. I like Juno, the space lady with the kind of like the cyber helmet. She was the latest person who she kind of like skates. She's a very like 1950s retro space lady design. Okay. She's really cool. You should check it out.
Yeah.
Loot boxes are back.
I thought there was like a whole thing of hatred towards loot boxes.
They put in battle passes because buying loot boxes was unpopular. But then when they put the battle pass in, they were so like, stingy that they were like, we want loot boxes back. But can you buy loot boxes? No. So how do you get loot boxes?
You got to
in the battle pass.
I'm gonna fucking.
When you level up in the battle pass, you'll get a loot box.
I'm not playing Overwatch. I just like even if they like, you know what, we're gonna change everything and do it exactly the way Amanda wants. It's too late.
Yeah. Also, they're going to put hero bans in competitive play. So that's a thing that happens in like competitive matches where one team can like I choose a character and then the other team gets the opportunity to ban one character from the roster to try to like shake things up so that you don't just have the exact same team comps every time. Is that you get a certain number of bans and then it makes you kind of have to readjust your strategy.
Yeah,
I got not a big problem with that. And then there's some new cosmetics for the next thing.
Everybody's gonna look beautiful.
The one that's kind of interesting is that Juno is getting a Sailor Moon, like a kind of a
a little magical girl. Yeah, that's
I think
cute.
Mercy also has one that's kind of magical girl-esque. They've got some little rainy poncho days. They still have a good art department. Like this is the Mercy skin.
Yeah, that's cute.
And the little magical girl gun.
Yeah. Well, they still know they have a lot of cosplay fans.
They have a good art. They have a good art department. Yeah. They've always had a good art department. So. Let's see. One of the other things that they were doing is competitive gets knocked back at the beginning of every season. Like at the beginning of a season, people do competitive, and as they get all the way up, they raise in rank. And then at the beginning of each new season, everybody gets reset back to 0, and you got to do it all over again because it would be boring to just have everybody sitting at the top of like Diamond 12.
Yeah.
And then a new season happens and you're just like, I don't need to do any matches. I'm already at Diamond 12. Like if you never log back into the game, you just sit at the top of the ranking and go, fuck you guys. So this is something that was going to happen in Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is currently mid-season, and they said we're going to reduce everybody's rank by 3 for the new stuff that's coming out. And apparently on the Marvel Rivals subreddit, everybody went fucking berserk, and they were like, we haven't finished a season you could do this at the end. We're not getting reset twice a season.
Yeah.
With like 8 seasons a year or whatever.
I thought they were mad that it's happening at the end of the season. They were going to do it mid-season.
It's going to be a mid-season refresh.
That sucks.
And the nice thing about it was that NetEase apparently is like very sensitive to when the Marvel Rivals. They are very sensitive to their audience because they were like, okay, JK, like, no, we're not going to do it.
Sex, guys. No. It's cool. It was cool.
Because, they will let their audience bully them because I think they realize that, like, yes, they are on top and they're very popular. That shit can go away in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah.
And being known as the one company that really keeps a close eye on your subreddit, and if too many people get mad, you're like, nope. That's okay.
We've heard all of your discussions and have decided to agree with whatever the fuck you told us because money, please.
That was I don't know. There was a thing that happened last week where apparently Valve had an advertising page that says you can't put in-game ads into Steam games.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I saw.
But that was actually their policy from 5 years ago, and somebody just found it, and then they thought
very funny.
It was a thing. So, but if you're playing Subnautica, watch out because apparently people have been phishing, like sending people messages on Steam saying like, "Hey, we're part of the Subnautica 2 team. We noticed that you own Subnautica. Would you like to beta test the thing? Here, fill out all your information on this form." And so Subnautica 2 came out and said, "We will never ever ask you for your information over Steam." Also, I'm just going to say this for everybody. Never give your personal information to something where somebody messages you.
Yeah.
If you get a message and it's asking for your personal information, like if you get an email from your bank saying your account has been hacked, call your bank. The bank.
Yep.
Do not respond to that. You call them. You go to their website. You contact them through customer service. Yep. Never respond to something that just pops up anywhere. Any messaging service.
Yeah.
Email,
text
doesn't
message.
matter.
I can't stress this enough because this one's been going around, and then the closer we get to the tax season, they try to really get people with it.
Yeah.
Because they know people have a little bit more money in their pocket. If you get a text message from the United States Postal Service, no, you fucking did not.
No, you didn't.
They do not have. First of all, they don't have enough people to do that anyway.
Absolutely not.
But second of all, I promise you, they don't give enough of a shit about you to be like, your one package didn't show up. Please give us all your information so we can get your package to you. They will literally not tell you anything, and then you'll go to the post office and be like, hey, I never got this package. They'll be like, oh, actually, it's been here the whole time. Because
it's kind of worth pointing out that it's just like, I know that a lot of people these days use their phone as their primary, like, everything.
Yeah.
But, like, you should be suspect of anything that comes over SMS.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And also anything that comes over any direct messaging platform, like any social media platform DM that you get, you should be looking at that shit askance. Like,
even people you know.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, but your Aunt Ruth might very well have clicked on a dumb fucking link, and now she's DM'd every person in her friends list to send them a dumb link, and you're like, well, Aunt Ruth always sends the tightest of memes.
Anyway, yes, that's your PSA. Now you know.
We're here to help people.
Knowing is half the battle. Okay, now we have to go even faster. Roblox is connected to some kind of active SEC investigation. I don't know what it is. There were in trade. Somebody did a FOIA request with the SEC. They found a case that had Roblox's name in it. There were no details to that case. They asked both the SEC and Roblox's parent company. Both were declined to comment.
Yeah.
The sooner that Roblox gets torched all the way to the ground, the better, because that's like an entire phishing scheme that somehow is legitimate.
Yeah,
like, hey, install malware on your system for fun.
And everyone goes, yay. Mostly children, though.
Some bad news in the gaming industry because we can't do a week without this shit happening. Crytek has laid off about 15% of their workforce and put Crysis 4 on hold to focus on The Hunt Showdown 1896, which is some kind of bullshit online multiplayer game. And last I heard, they put Post Malone in it. And I'm like, you just
That's right. We saw the trailer for it when they put Post Malone.
The more you say, the less interested I get. I would be interested in playing Crysis 4.
Yeah.
But not your bullshit cowboy fucking
Post Malone game.
Jack Rose Circus demon cowboy game.
Yeah.
That was the one that we had that had the Ghostface skin.
Oh my God. Okay.
Let's see.
Why?
Unity also is laying off a bunch of people. Unity has already laid off to date 1,800 people, but they expanded way too much. And then they did that thing like 2 years ago where they were going to make everybody pay back royalties on like if your game hit a certain amount, we're going to ask you to pay us even though we never asked you to pay us before, and it fucked everything up. It's fucked their entire business model up, and they're still recovering from it. John Riccatello was fired for this, and I'm glad, but again, I think that I want to see CFOs and CEOs losing their jobs before I see a bunch of people getting fired.
Yeah,
so.
Agreed.
Good news, Alan Wake 2 has finally hit the point where it is recouped all of its development cost and is finally turning a profit for Remedy. So I think that with last year's Lake House, they finally got it to a point where it was in a good position. And
buy more, buy often.
Well, we'll see if the FBC Firebreak, how that works out for them.
Yeah.
So. We can skip that one.
Yay.
Rocksteady is maybe making a new Batman game.
What do you mean maybe?
Well, it's been reported via Jason Schreier over at Bloomberg that they are looking into basically starting up a new Batman game. As has been reported over and over again, Rocksteady disastrously made Suicide Squad Kills Justice League. Everybody fucking hated it. A lot of people lost their jobs. Even the people that were in charge of WB Games lost their jobs. It was a titanic, probably $200 million disaster.
Yeah.
So I think that says, I thought Rocksteady would be shut down because Warner Brothers is very cutthroat. But instead,
more like Suicide Squad Kills Rocksteady.
But they instead shut down Multiverses. And I think that they're going to try to give it one more Hail Mary of like, you guys still like Batman though, right? Like it's Batman. Surely we can make another Batman game. You guys will play the Batman game.
What if it's Ben Affleck's Batman?
I thought Ben Affleck made a pretty decent Batman and could have used more things.
The way I go to bat for Ben Affleck,
for Batfleck,
but Ben Affleck in general, but I think had he been able to direct his Batman film, I think it would have been a great Batman film.
I agree.
I got your back, Ben.
Hey, you know what? I got one step further. I talk a lot of shit about Zack Snyder. I would have liked to have seen Zack Snyder's Batman movie. Yeah. Not Superman. Get your fucking grubby mitts off the Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Or Wonder Woman or any of that shit. I think that dude would have been great at making a Batman movie.
I cannot believe he did Superman when he is so very...
He's the baddest of men.
Yes.
You would have loved Batman.
I know, he's like perfect for Batman.
I'm dark and superheroes suck and everything.
And you know, if you want like the crazy, like outlandish goofiness, do you know who I would have given during that time? Who I would have given Superman to?
Who?
Michael Bay, because he's wildly patriotic.
Absolutely.
Explosions, colorful.
Yeah.
He knows how to make like kind of fun characters that aren't like
he's gonna make a
dour
really
and shit.
Out of place gay joke at some point. It's gonna be very weird.
But that's fine. Superhero stuff has a lot of weird gay stuff that happens every once in a while.
Sure.
I mean, he could bring up pink kryptonite. It's fine. But like I genuinely think like if you were gonna do the like
Martha Kent gets fucked up at pot brownies at when he goes to university.
I'm not saying it would be a great film. I'm just saying that if you need the opposite of Zack Snyder to the Zack Snyder Batman, then what you would need is like a Michael Bay Superman.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to go one step even further than that. I'm going to say I would genuinely be interested to find out what the Batfleck Zack Snyder movie with Jared Leto's Joker was like. I could see that working in a way.
Well, yeah. Of all of them, I only trust Ben Affleck with those people, but like would not want to be left alone in a room with all three.
Okay. Speaking of putting Batman and stuff, Warhorse has announced that Kingdom Come 2 Deliverance is going to get Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is going to get official mod support, which is really good because this has been a big thing for Baldur's Gate. It does mean that probably, the first thing you get is naked. Naked comes first.
Sometimes it's like Randy Savage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they're going to be doing that. I like that we're seeing companies put mod tools directly into the video games as opposed to just having support for them. Like Baldur's Gate 3 on the PS5, I can download mods for it on the PS5.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Fun.
Let's see. And then I think we're going to go ahead, because we're a little bit over time, but I think we're going to go ahead and end with this, and then we'll pick up the last two.
Yay.
A Nintendo Switch patent. This is a strange headline. So the headline for this IGN article was Nintendo Switch 2 patent suggests Joy-Cons can be rotated and the console can be played upside down. And I was like,
who wants to play upside down?
You like turn it upside down?
Like, am I sitting on the couch, but my head's like...
Okay. What this means is that because they don't have the locking slides, because they just magnetically attach to the side, it means you can turn the entire thing upside down, and then like a cell phone, it'll rotate the screen. But that means that you can put the jacks on the bottom or the top, depending on where you want, like say a headphone jack or a power charging jack. So
that's actually really smart.
Yep. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a very Nintendo thing to do, of just like, have it your way. Do whatever you feel like.
Convenience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we got even more trailers. We got the regular trailers.
Yeah, baby.
As well as a few news stories. So stick around, and we'll see you in just a minute.
Here we are.
And we're in the final stretch, Amanda.
Oh, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Those are just the case lights I've been trying to turn off for the last 2 hours. We got our first poster of Mr. Jonathan Cage in the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, I thought it was Zac Efron.
No, it's Carl Urban. And I talked about this a little bit on one of the podcasts, or on one of the dojos that I did with Michael. The thing is that I think Carl Urban is a perfect cast for an old Johnny Cage.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's older. He's cocky. He can do all that stuff.
He's like charming enough that you can't help but like him.
Yes. However, I hated the Mortal Kombat movie. Like, I really hated it. So the thing is that it's the same director, same writer, same everything. If they manage to make a good movie, I'll be more than happy to be happy.
Hear me out, though.
Yep.
In defense of this movie, Johnny Cage has consistently been the thing that makes bad Mortal Kombat movies fully enjoyable.
That is true.
So, like,
that is true.
I don't know. And Carl Urban's really good at making bad movies good.
Yep.
He was in the Doom movie.
He didn't. That movie wasn't good, even though he was in it.
I know.
But I do love me some Chronicles of Riddick. So
yeah, see?
There you go.
He's great in everything he's in. He was fantastic in the Doom movie, so it's fine.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
You know who wasn't good in the Doom movie? Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, he was awful in that movie.
I mentioned before about John Reno being in Onimusha 3.
Yeah.
There's a website that reached out to John Reno's agent asking, like, hey, since they're doing remasters and reworks of some of these Onimusha games, would you be down to come back and like redo voice lines for Onimusha 3?
Yeah.
And he was just like, hell yeah. Or the agent was like, Mr. Reno would be very interested in that, because what the fuck is John Reno doing? He just got to go to the fucking recording booth for 3 days and then cash a paycheck? Of course. Get me. I'll do a horrible
I'll do a bad accent.
It's just going to be cartoon Frenchman. Yeah. All right. So before we get to the trailers, we're looking. Our first trailer this week is for Night Rain, the Elden Ring weird spin-off game. There was a question that was asked of the director about whether their Night Rain would be a live service game, because it is an online multiplayer thing, whether it's going to have like a battle pass or tie-ins or stuff. And he was like, nope. We want to ship a full featured video game that has all the unlocks and doesn't gate any content.
Look at Elden Ring still being your bestie after all these years.
Yep. And also, it's not even full price. It's a $40 game and not a full $60 game.
Nice.
So I feel like From Software is like, I think a lot of people forget that From Software tends to do like crowd pleaser, experiment. Crowd pleaser, experiment. They made that Daracine game that was a PSVR game. They made Armored Core after years of no Armored Core. So I think that Night Rain is a way to give them a little time to work on whatever their next thing is.
When Night Rain comes out, can we do that? We'll get the practice co-op with the
are you asking me if you can play Elden Ring with me?
The story with the It Takes Two game.
Oh, sure.
Whatever,
Yeah.
So we'll get the practice that we can learn how to like really play a game together.
Yeah.
And then when Night Rain comes out, I'll definitely not grief you the entire time.
Amanda, since I know a lot about oh no, my coffee. I didn't bring it with me. Shit. Looked around, my coffee's gone.
Like, oh, something bad's happening. He's looking around.
Joke's on you. There is no friendly fire in Elden Ring Night Rain, and the way you heal people is you run up to them when they're down and attack them.
That's amazing that you
would
think
just
that
be helping.
I would be limited to just attacking you to making your time playing this game bad.
Hey, here's the thing. I've said this a lot. I'm going to say it some more. Any of you motherfuckers that want to play an Elden Ring game with me, I've been trying for 10 years to get anybody to play Souls games with me, and nobody will.
I'm going to befriend all the people that are supposed to be killing us.
Yes. No, there's no, it's not multiplayer. It's PvE. So it's just like the monsters and like AI controlled guys.
I'm going to befriend the monsters.
Okay.
You think I won't try?
No, I think you will. I think you will. We also got a release date trailer. That's our first trailer this week. May 30th, right around the corner.
Very close.
Not a lot of waiting. There was a bunch of people got preview access, and the beta is going on right now.
Yeah, you didn't get that though, right?
I didn't get
you
into
were
the
like
beta.
heartbroken.
I didn't get into the beta.
They wanted you to be surprised.
I wanted to be in the beta. This guy right here, he's got a bird head. He's like a bird man. He's like in armor, but he's got like a bird head, and then he's got wings coming off of him. So
cool.
Yeah, I've watched a bunch of the preview footage, and it looks pretty cool, and I can't wait to check it out. Even though I don't, see, bird head.
Oh, Birdman.
Yeah. Even though I don't think it's going to be like, I think John mentioned on one of the Elden, because we just started up Shadow of the Erd Tree at patreon.com/RageSelect. He was like, yeah, when that game comes out, we'll have to do the lore for that. I'm like, I don't think it's that kind of game, because they literally put like Dark Souls 2 bosses just in that game.
Oh.
And when they asked the director about it, he's like, I thought it'd be fun. Like, so this is not
hip and cool. Yeah.
Right. I don't think George R.R. Martin wrote the Bible for Night Rain. I think it's more of just like, I think that it comes from the fact that people really like randomizer mods and people really like multiplayer mods for Souls games. And they're like, what if we canonically just made one of those? What if we made a modded version of Elden Ring and then sold it for $40? So.
And I was like, yes.
And I was like, sure, whatever it is you want. I don't know what Tired Jeff was thinking when he put together these trailers, but we also have a trailer for a new character in Star Wars Hunters. Speaking of online games with bows and arrows, it's one of them Darth Maul, but it's a lady. Her name is Nox. I don't know. I had fun when we played this, and they actually put it out on like platforms where it doesn't look like complete ass.
Yeah.
So, but I think I've just decided, Amanda, that if I'm going to put a shitload of hours into a game, I want it to be a single player game. I just don't want it to be an online multiplayer game. So
agreed.
But yeah. Let's see. From there, we got the this was called the New Gen Features trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I thought was really funny because it was captured on a PC and then put on the it like says captured on the PC and then it's on the Sony channel.
Yeah.
And it's like on the PS5 channel. What I will say is that they didn't really show a lot of this early on, but the more I see of this game, the more ultra violent it looks.
Yeah, it's very bloody.
Like there's a lot of blood and a lot of gore, and I'm like,
but landscapes too. Ooh,
yeah, pretty
there's
cherry
a
blossoms.
Bridge.
Well, it's also got seasons. Like the seasons change as the game goes on.
Nice.
They even show how that'll like affect the game, where you can you can knock down like an icicle to distract somebody in the winter.
That's cool.
I don't know. I'm really okay. I put my hand on that stove. I put my hand on that hot Ubisoft stove a bunch of times. I did really enjoy that Persia game that came out last year when I finally got around to playing it. I'm not rooting against this, but I'm maintaining a very healthy level of skepticism.
That's fair.
Because the Assassin's Creed games have not been anything I've enjoyed for a long time. So
the Assassin's Creed games, I mean, they're never my style of gaming anyway, but they often are like cool on paper, bad in practice, where it's like, oh, that sounds cool. And then you actually watch people play it and you're like, oh.
I think it's very telling that this game comes out in not that long. And they haven't really, it comes out March 20th. It was supposed to be out in February.
Yeah.
But it comes out March 20th. And they haven't really had that many videos showing like a gameplay segment.
Yeah.
Like it's mostly just been like these sizzle trailers.
Yeah.
And that worries me a lot because it's like, if you guys are proud of the game and you think it's a good game, which they delayed it out of last year into this year, hurting their bottom line to try to polish it before it came out, is like, I would like to see some more just like, how does this game play? Not just these like, look at this action, look at this vertical slice.
Yeah, that's fair, especially this close.
Yeah. I mean, because everything about it looks very pretty, but if it plays like ass, then who cares?
Yeah.
So
I could just look at pictures if I want to look at something pretty.
Yeah. I look at type cherry blossoms into Google Image and scroll past all the AI. We also got a features trailer for Atomfall, which I'm really interested in. This is the next game from Rebellion, the guys that make the Sniper Elite games. You might have seen this one in one of the previous podcasts.
The name sounds familiar, so I'm just kind of waiting for it to...
This is kind of 1960s, like you're trapped in this village where there was like an atomic accident in northern England in like a small village, but it's kind of post-apocalyptic where like nobody's allowed to leave, and there's these kind of like big weird robots, and then there's like cultists, and then there's like you're kind of wandering through the northern English countryside trying to survive and trying to cobble together weapons, and there's a kind of a mystery of what's happened, like what's caused all of this. It's something I'm really interested in. The Rebellion has been mostly making Sniper Elite games for a while, so I'm interested in seeing them flex a little bit of their creativity. It looks an awful lot like a Fallout or Outer Wilds kind of style game.
It kind of reminded me of that Fallout fan game that was the
Fallout London.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, I could see that. Except like obviously more polished because it's from
a big absolutely.
I
just
but yeah, I'm interested. They keep showing this off and I keep going, I don't know if I even really still understand what exactly the point of it is outside of like, because it's not just a full survival game. There's obviously some kind of story.
Yeah.
And they've got the general outlines of the story, but they've been playing the cards close to their chest. So not entirely sure, but it's also coming out the end of March. So I guess we'll see.
Coming soon.
Let's see. We got this is apparently they've had a few of these. We got a character trailer for the 100 line Last Defense Academy. This is the latest game from the guy that made Danganronpa, and then also I think one of the guys that did Zero Escape, which was like a kind of visual novel. I think we actually played it on a sequential or on a stream, but it's like a tactics RPG, but then it's got all of the kind of nutty characters that you see from like a Danganronpa, and it looks interesting. I've never been completely down for the kind of jank that this developer does, but
I like the chubby girl.
Yeah, the wrestler.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's chubby or I guess she's
like muscle mommy.
Or sort of both.
Yeah, she's that kind of muscular where when you wear clothes you just look fat, and then you like let your biceps rip, and you're like,
yeah, because she doesn't have like a gut.
She doesn't, but
her face has. Yeah,
she's like super chubby cheeked. Yeah, but yeah, she's definitely thick.
But I think that's been one of the draws.
And that's a positive. Don't ever let anyone think that me calling somebody big is a negative.
And there's like a blob with a brain. I don't know.
Me.
A lot of weird, like, I think that one of the draws for this developer or for these guys is that the characters are really compelling because they're very weird and offbeat.
And like different, because sometimes you see stuff like this and it'll be like, oh, look at all the different characters that you could identify with. Hot chick with red hair, hot chick with blue hair, hot chick with glasses. And it's just like this, like each character looks dynamically different.
Yeah, like the part of this trailer where it's like the main character or this one character who's like, oh, I was looking for the girl that I had a crush on, and then he finds her in this place and she doesn't remember who he is, and she's like a weird cyber soldier kind of character.
Yeah.
So yeah, it looks interesting. Very, very strange, very bizarre, but kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So April 24th is when that's coming out.
You know what it is? It's kind of that similar vibe of like if you play a game where you and your friends get to make your own characters and nobody has the same like aesthetic.
Yeah. Nothing really matches.
Yeah. So like they all look real different because nobody would make the same character twice.
Sure. I want to be the generic anime protagonist.
Yeah. No, I want to be a background character in an anime.
We got an announcement that Centum is coming to the PS5. This was a very Michael and I have seen a few trailers for this. It's a very like strange game.
Yeah.
It's like this pixel based game, and I'm not still entirely clear what it's about. It's very like kind of.
Is it a spooky?
I think it's a kind of a spooky. It's from.
I mean, that looks spooky.
It's from Serenity Forge. So Serenity Forge made. I think I showed you that game where it was like. You're in like the moon rover, but then it's like the world is there. I don't know. It's got a lot of strange iconography going on.
Yeah, there's definitely some. So it straight up looks like a Gorillaz character, though. Like there's like a spooky kid, but it looks like like if they went spookify a Gorillaz album.
Sure, like
Tootie or
the one with the circle dark eyes.
Yeah, with
the main character.
nun eyeballs. I don't know their names. John would kill me if he found out that I didn't know that. And then they have like Face from Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Or like the computer from Bee and Puppy Cat, like with the monitor face. So yeah, I don't know. I'm really interested to try to figure out what this is because it's unclear what kind of game it is, but it's a lot of pixel art, spooky weirdness.
Yeah,
and
I'm in.
Yeah, I want to know. So late March.
Give me that weirdness.
I think we have a bunch of spooky stuff.
Hell yeah.
We also got an announcement for Flesh Made Fear. Which
that's what they used to call me in high school.
I'm glad that this is becoming a new thing where it's like PSX Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I'll make my own Resident Evil game. Because this is pretty much just a weird indie Resident Evil game.
Yeah.
It's like a fixed camera, third person action where you play as like a SWAT guy and there's like weird fucking zombies and dead people and craziness,
spooky demons, a bathtub full of pee,
upside down,
so is that
boob zombies.
Yeah, we wanted to add nurses into it.
Yeah, kinda, or like that's like the what was it in Deadly Premonition? Isn't that how they do? They go backwards at you. So, but yeah, it looks very just like. And I like this because I think that
having a lot of fun with the blood that's coming out of them.
Using the indie or using the pixel stuff means that you don't have to make super high resolution assets.
Yeah.
As you can literally just cheat by doing old throwback stuff. But there's a market for that.
Yeah.
It ends up with the style, right? You were talking about style earlier.
And sometimes it fits the vibe of like, especially these kinds of horror games. Like it just feels right.
Yeah. I don't. It says it's got Kickstarter. I wonder if it's still kickstarting, or if it's already hit its goal.
Flesh Made Fear.
I think this is like, Kickstarter. Don't verify if I'm human. Let me in. I'm a robot.
I am not human.
It looks like it's way past the development or past the funding phase. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. We also got a game called Deadly Quiet. This is a asymmetrical multiplayer game with an emphasis on like a really kind of like it's like body cam footage.
Yeah. It's one of those like here's your microphone.
No, I think it does hear your microphone. I think what it is it's it's obviously it's online, but I think you're trying to do something and you have to communicate with other people, and then when you do that, the monsters can hear where you are. Yeah. But all of it's got this real kind of like grainy, low resolution.
Yeah, very found footage feeling.
But I think that really helps with what are obviously very kind of low poly / cheap models and environments by again using that washed out
kind
style.
Of a fisheye lens.
Yep.
The Wendigo thing that's chasing you looks so funny when it's running, though. Yeah, it just does. It looks like you told it that you got treats, and it's like, oh, tortilla pizza rolls. Like it's just running at it so funnily. Like I don't know why.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It looks kind of interesting. It was a slow week on trailers because they were all in the PS store.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which shall also be evident. This is a game that I thought was kind of interesting called He Is Coming. You can't hear it, but they've got a real like lo-fi, ultra compressed kind of spooky narrator on this because it's a very like pixel art kind of swords and sorcery thing where it's sort of an auto battler where you're not directly controlling like what happens during combat. I think you're just kind of controlling it, and then the big thing is that you have 3 days to adventure before this big spooky boss comes to kill you.
He's coming.
That's why it's called He Is Coming. So in fact they show the spooky boss at the end. I think he's like this, actually it looks an awful lot like the Wendigo except a pixel. It's a kind of like a deer skull with
like fur body
coming off of it.
It looks like a puppet because you don't see the whole body, so it's just like a head and neck.
Yep. Which again,
I should make a Wendigo puppet.
I'm a big fan of these, like, not everything needs to be ultra photorealistic. Like, if you have a good idea and it works out well.
I'm a big fan of like it has to if it has a style. Yeah. It needs to have a style.
Yeah. So you can check it out on Steam.
Do it.
We also they're putting out a demo for Bad Cheese. So I don't know if you know Bad Cheese. Bad Cheese is basically like you play as like this kind of fat Mickey Mouse, and there's like a spooky like.
So this is just another one of those they can't sue us anymore, so we're making.
I think so. I think this would probably be legally distinct even if it wasn't, because everything is so glorified that like.
It's muted, but I feel like everything sounds wet.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's obviously you've got like a Goofy is a giant monster, and you're like having to like you're in the same house trying to do stuff and not get killed.
Yeah.
It's what it's got the vibes of? It's very much the vibes of like when they did that like Garfield is a existential horror and then John is afraid of him kind of thing.
Yeah. That is the vibe for sure.
Of taking that and then just making an actual video game out of it.
Yeah.
And it's got like
it's gotten tattoos loosely based on that Garfield.
Nice 2D art, but then obviously it's very like kind of puppet animated.
Yeah.
Like it's not like there's a game called Mouse, I think, where it's like an action game,
like a shooter, right? Yeah.
And which is a lot more animated than this.
Yeah.
But I still like using the aesthetic to try something different. So, yep. And there's a demo out for it now.
Freaky, and I bet it squishes a lot in it. Everything just looks moist. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, the main character's like sweating all the time.
Yeah, and then like the enemies or like the spooky bad goofy guy looks like he just doesn't have skin. Yep. So he'd just be like quick the whole time.
Yeah.
Makes me uncomfortable. Like wet carpet sound, you know what I mean?
Is that the point?
Am I painting a picture for you guys?
I think
Do you
so.
feel it?
I feel like I'm watching the trailer right now. Another kind of like 2D art style games. There was a game that has a demo called Ruffy and the Riverside. This is a demo out on Steam, and it's kind of like a 3D platformer. But the character you're playing as looks like they've kind of been cut out of like paper, like drawn on paper.
Looks like a chibi Ewok.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He's got the little hood over his head, like a teddy bear with the hood over his head.
And he's also, but it looks like it's kind of like a cross between like a 3D platformer or like a Crash Bandicoot type of thing.
Yeah.
And there's also these little 2D levels that look very Mario. With the
Super Mario. Well, not like that, but you know what I mean.
But it's got it's got a very distinct art style.
Yeah.
That looks kind of interesting. So probably up somebody's alley. I'm not the biggest fan of the 3D platformer stuff.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't really part
They're
of my childhood.
so fucking frustrating.
Yeah.
I've never played one that I felt good afterwards, you know?
What about like Mario Odyssey? Or 3D Mario World?
Yeah.
Those, maybe?
Okay. Well, so Mario does it good, but
Right.
like anything beyond Mario.
I think it's not a Mario
Yeah.
game. Yeah, I gotcha. Let's see. We got the release date for, speaking of cute stuff, we got the release date of the Wallace and Gromit pack for Power Wash Simulator. So that's coming out on March 4th. And we got a very...
Fuck yes. Are you playing it March 4th, Jeff? Are you going to play it the moment it comes out?
I usually play those, but I don't usually record them.
Yeah.
Because I played every single one of them all the way to completion.
Yeah.
Because it's for
That's
just...
a perfect like stream or like chill with people kind of game.
Yeah. If you're like social at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not.
I just want to sit here in my house in the dark just going...
Just cleaning things in a dark, empty apartment.
Yep. Just
Cleaning something in a cave.
Getting the dopamine of the ding, ding, ding when things get cleaned up. So... let's see. We also got the early access release date for Ale Abbey, which is a like a management game where you're doing like one of those monasteries where they brew the beer.
Nice.
And so you've got to set up like the beer, and you've got your little nuns and little priests.
That's cute. I do play these kinds of games often.
The management stuff?
I'll just get like lost in, gotta get my guys need more of this, and they gotta get over here, and we gotta open up this part of the building.
Yeah.
And I'll get caught up in stuff like this.
I was really struck by like it's just very nice pixel art too. Like it's very solid pixel art. Also, it looks like your nuns can get drunk and then fall over, which is good.
All of us can get drunk and fall over, Jeff.
I also like this part at the end where the abbot is trying to like keep the beer safe, and there's like an angry mob, and they have a sign that says GIVALE, like give ale.
Give us your ale.
Give me the ale. So. Yeah, I don't know. It looks very cute.
Yeah, it does look cute.
Oh, and I really like that where they...
I didn't notice the art they used in the background.
Yeah, the abbot sitting at a table, and the art behind him is that picture of Jesus that the lady restored into this weird monkey face, which I think, Amanda, like I know that a piece of art was lost, but I don't think... Nearly as many people would know that piece of art even existed if it wasn't for the weird monkey face restoration.
What art is supposed to disturb people, and I think it's totally fine that art was destroyed to create new art in a sense. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
How many paintings of Jesus do you need?
I mean, there's a lot. And that's February 18th. So by the time, right
days
on the corner.
away.
Yep. Let's see. We also got
early access. Is that early?
Early access. Yes. We also got the launch trailer for Civilization 7.
Yay.
Which I actually hear has been a bit controversial. Like they had an early access period.
I personally find all Civilization pretty controversial.
You can't hear it, but the nice thing about this trailer is that they always choose a narrator.
Yeah.
And the narrator for Civilization 7 was Gwendolyn Christie, Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah.
So I also think that it's funny when they bring up all the scores that like a lot of them are 9s and not 10s. One of them is a 9.2 from a Gamer Sky
4.5
out of 5. Like this is obviously not universal renown.
I can't believe why we even bother doing the score thing if it's not.
I don't know. It was part of the
like,
graphics
whatever.
package.
Yeah.
I can't play Civilization because that's a like, do you want to just play the same game over and over and over again? And I'm like, no, I do not. Or do you want to play Civilization one time and be bad at it and then put it aside? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
for a brief moment,
I'm
Amanda.
already bad at Civilization. I don't have to play it to know that.
I was very close to trying to do dojos for Civilization 7.
Really?
And then I came to my senses and went, no.
Yeah. There are precious few times where we'll throw up a game and then play for like 10 minutes and then have both of us be silent and then look at each other and go,
nope.
Should we just play something else?
So that's why this week, if you go and watch the videos that Michael and I did, one of them is called Keep Driving, and it's a roguelike about going on a road trip in the 90s as like a kid in a hatchback station wagon.
That sounds fun.
And the other one is a game about digging a hole, which is a game about digging a hole in your backyard trying to find buried treasure.
Yeah.
So
nice.
Because Civilization 7.
Those both sound like nostalgia trips. You know what I mean?
They were both fun as hell.
Yeah.
They were both fun as hell. So, let's see. And then last but
why
not
build
least,
Civilization when you can dig a hole in your backyard?
True. Jeff Minter is making iRobot into a new game. So, do you remember when we played the Polybius game? And it was just an assault on our senses.
Yeah, I thought I was going to throw up. Yeah.
May supposed to want to throw up and die. This is the next game from that guy.
Oh, good.
It turns out that back in the early days, the very first arcade game to ever have like full polygons, not just like wireframes, but fully colored in polygons, was a game called iRobot, where you play as a little guy with the horns, and there's a giant eyeball in the sky, and you were doing like little puzzles.
Yeah.
And it flopped because nobody was ready for it. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
And Jeff Minter has chosen this crazy thing as the next thing to make into an assault on the senses. From this trailer, I will tell you, I feel nauseous.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it.
It's so crazy. Like, you can tell the parts in this where I'm going to throw up.
Yep.
Like, that's where I'll get the migraine.
And headache.
Yeah.
Yes. But, you know, this guy has carved out a niche of remaking weird, obscure old games.
For the sake of, like, enjoying the history of video games, I think there's nothing wrong with it.
Especially because Polybius that's an urban myth. Like, there wasn't actually a Polybius.
That's why I kind of don't believe him on the iRobot.
I actually looked it up. And
did you question it too?
I did. Yeah, because it actually has like a date and a creator and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's coming out spring of this year. All right, let's finish up with a few things. Ooh, we're way under time.
What? That never happens.
Part of the Sony State of Play was a bunch of PlayStation Plus news, but I skipped over it because I want to make sure that we got through it. So here we go now. So for February, we're getting on PlayStation Plus Jedi Survivor, Top Spin 2K25, and crazy enough, Lost Records Bloom and Rage, which is the latest game from the Life is Strange. From one of the Life is Strange teams, where it's a bunch of girls in the 90s in the woods, and then they get like superpowers or something.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that PlayStation Plus is not very good at like day one non-PlayStation games being on it, on like Game Pass. So it's interesting to see this as, hey, we're changing that a little bit.
Yeah.
They also talked in the video, even though I didn't mention it, that Blueprints game and Abiotic Factor are also both going to launch on PS Plus as included with the service.
Nice.
So that happened. And then, strangely enough, they hate me because they're putting Armored Core Project Phantasma, and Armored Core Master of the Arena, the first three PS1 Armored Core games on the PlayStation Network. I will not be playing those games. Those games are antiquated and fucking hard as shit to play. I want to play Armored Core 4 for Answer, but it is not available anywhere, and it also kind of looks like ass. So,
that's funny.
But yeah, if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, plenty of good stuff coming down the pipe.
Yeah, as long as they don't crash and stay down for 24 hours, you're good to go.
That is true. Let's see. I'm really excited for this. There was a game that came out a little while back called Overboard. And it was a game where you played a woman in like a 1920s cruise ship who pushes her husband off into the ocean and kills him. And then you have like 8 hours before your ship comes in to port, and it's like a little visual novel.
Yeah.
But the trick is that you can do specific things, and you kind of do a lot of different stuff, and there are a bunch of different endings, but every time it ends, it just loops. It's a time loop.
Yeah.
It had exceptional writing. It took all of about 3 hours to get every single ending for it. It was very hand-holdy if you ever got stuck.
Yeah.
Like you could literally go talk to God, and like God
Help, God.
hates you because you're like a murderer.
Yeah, that's fair.
But he will also give you hints. So that was fun. It was really fun, and it had a really nice art style, and I really loved it.
Yeah.
And it was made by this company called Inkle, and they are making a like another thing in that vein called Expelled, which takes place in like a 1920s girls' boarding school where
They have a really specific time that they like.
yes. Well, I don't know. It might everything looks like this is 1922. The other one might have taken place in like the 30s or 40s or something. But in this game, somebody is pushed off the roof of the school, and you are accused of that crime.
That's
and so
super funny.
it's a similar thing where somebody is also pushed off of a thing, and then you go through a loop to try to figure out how to do it.
All of their game pitches are like, okay, so somebody gets pushed off a thing.
Again!
I love it. Keep going.
To be honest, like if every 2 or 3 years they want to put out a game, if it's got the same quality of writing as the first one, I'm 100% in.
Nice.
Because it was great. Very good. Very good. Let's see. Stellar Blade launches on Steam in June. We already talked about that.
Yay.
You remember Fallout London?
Yeah, I brought it up.
It's getting DLC.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's a new DLC that's coming called Rabbit and Pork.
Lord.
That is
Nosh
launching,
and Bevy.
yeah, pretty soon. And they have 2 more that are coming behind that. So they're like restoring cut content and
Nice.
polishing stuff up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
These guys really put a lot of heart into this.
They should get money. They should get money. Bethesda should give them money.
Bethesda, money.
Money, please. Yeah, because they are doing a good job. I haven't gone back to the game yet. I was going to wait for it to kind of like stabilize, but then you know what happens is other video games come out, and you're like,
They just keep coming and they don't stop coming.
yes,
Smash
exactly.
Mouth was right.
And I am an all-star. Speaking of mods, we got the Baldur's Gate 3 put out their full mod kit, and that has unlocked the door for people to have full-on new custom campaigns.
Fun.
And a new one just launched that is called The Grand Theater, Sell Your Loot to the Devil. And it is a giant, like, masquerade theater that's being run by the Red Wizards of Karth or whatever.
Sure.
You remember, did you watch the D&D movie? Those were the bad guys in the D&D movie with the Red Wizards. And so it's like this very debauched kind of like theater full of like purple lights and red wizards and all kinds of crazy stuff.
So creative.
Somebody that I think they said something that's got like 200,000 new lines of dialogue or something like that.
Oh
like,
my God.
it's this huge thing, and this is only V1, so there's going to be like more. They're going to like get feedback from the community, and put more into it. And the nice thing about using the official mod tools is that like this looks pretty much like the game.
It's just very pink.
Yes,
but besides that, it's looks good.
They went into some big pink lights. So, but yeah, there's a lot going on in there. I'm glad to see. You know, I'm glad. I really liked Baldur's Gate 3. I'm glad that there is a subsection of nerds online and video game players that are just like, I could just play this game forever. I could just keep playing this game for the next like 5 or 6 years. People are going to put out mods for it. There'll be new stuff to put into it. It's kind of like the new Skyrim, I guess.
Yeah.
Where there's so much to do.
I think Skyrim's ran its course. It's been going forever.
The way into the ground.
Yeah.
All the way to the ground. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Local Thunk, the guy that made Balatro, in an interview recently where they talked to him about how his life has changed, or their life. I don't know, whatever. It's funny because they were talking about how like they really haven't changed their life very much because they've just been like, instead of going to an office job, they're now just obsessively working on Balatro.
Yeah.
But they haven't like moved. So they've traveled a little bit more. But you know,
I respect it. That's amazing.
I think that's a great way to be like, you make sure that this shit isn't real and it's not going to go away after a year.
Yeah.
You expand a little bit, but keep it all with it. Don't go buying fucking Hollywood mansions just yet.
That is kind of the dream, though, right? Like you make one good game, and then you just keep that game alive, and that's your job.
No, I was looking at the Twitter for the person that made Unpacking, and they were like, yeah, after I made Unpacking, I was just like, okay, I'm going to go do some other stuff for a while. I may or may not ever be back to make another game ever again because you get the big payout, and you're just like, okay, I'm just a regular person. I'm going to go live my life for a little while and think about whether I want to go through all that a second time. They're also...
Yeah, the money runs low. You go, Unpacking 2.
Yes. They also asked about, there's a 1.1 version of Balatro that's coming out pretty soon. And the quote was, I'm not going to get into exactly what's going to be in it because that also means I can't pivot if something new doesn't work. I think it's healthier for the game that I keep my cards close to my chest that give you the best version of whatever this new content update is, which is better than teasing stuff and then having to delay it or cancel it or do whatever.
It'll change the face of gaming.
Hell yeah. I still think it would have been interesting if Balatro had won Game of the Year last year.
I think it should have. Just like, you know what? Fuck it.
Let's see. There was a game that came out a few years back called Somerville that was about a dad that, like, his family got abducted by aliens, and it was kind of in the countryside, and you were trying to figure out how to get your family back and running from aliens and stuff.
Sure.
It was very like Inside or Limbo, where it was like a 2D thing.
Yeah.
But it didn't really resonate very well with people because it was a little bit more obtuse and harder to get into. But apparently...
They're making another go.
That company... Well, what's interesting is the company... the guy that owns the company that made that game was called Dino Patti, and they sold that company to... what was it? Thunderful. And then I think Thunderful gutted it and everybody got fired, but he retained the rights to it. And he announced on Twitter that it's called Jump Ship, that he was finally able to buy back the rights to his company. And now it'll be a question of looking for funding and staffing up to try to make something else.
Well, good for him.
Yep. I hope it's better than the last one because Somerville looked very nice, but it wasn't any fun to play. So sorry about that.
Well, you know... it takes a while you gotta break a few eggs.
True.
You know?
True.
I don't know. I can't afford eggs.
Dragon Quest 12 is still in development. This is a strange story, but we haven't heard anything about Dragon Quest in quite some time. And Square Enix has been going through a big reorganization, and projects have been canceled, and people get laid off.
Yeah.
So there was no... I mean, it would be ludicrous to cancel the next Dragon Quest game. Those games make shitloads of money.
Yeah.
But this is at least confirmation that they're still working on it. Also, last year, I believe it was Akira Toriyama passed away, who he did all the monster designs and all the character designs for Dragon Quest. So that was also a blow kind of to the team. But yes, there was a recent interview where the creator Yuji Horii said that they're still working on 12 and is still going to come out at some point. So.
Huzzah for Dragon Quest.
Not much to say.
Yeah.
And then let's finish up with a few fun things. The Yakuza franchise has a new website where you can basically vote every day for what thing from the Yakuza franchise you would like to get turned into a real thing.
That's so funny.
And this is a very large list. Like there's... you know, like statues and booze and watches.
And like a stamp.
And like panties, like a little stamp, like outfits, a golden safe, a candle.
Yeah.
Like here's a dice bag or some black gloves. But the thing that everybody should be voting for, and I don't know why you wouldn't, is the Gorimajima body pillow. Why would you not want a body pillow of Gorimajima looking all handsome with his eye patch and everything, you know, to keep you warm at night? So apparently you can only vote once a day
Because you keep trying to vote more than once a day.
No, I'm not voting at all. It'll probably end up being like, this ashtray that all of the fans of Yakuza really like. This one ashtray
That's
that
kind of funny.
Got hit in the head with in part 4. Also, I think that this one it would be great. Is Goro Majima? It's a giant cone.
Yeah, like a person-sized cone.
And there's a mission in the first Yakuza game where Goro Majima is like stalking Kiryu, and you have to keep finding him. And one time he's underneath the giant cone.
That's very funny.
That's why he's standing next to it.
I love it.
One
of them is a big rig, just so we're clear.
They're a bunch of goofy goobers.
I like the luchador mask.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for a luchador
jacket with Kasuga's face on it.
I mean, I'd wear it.
And then, are these is that like a wrap for a car or RC car? This one is a picture of Goro Majima driving like a big rig truck.
Yeah.
And I don't know what.
I think it's a steering wheel cover.
Is it the steering wheel cover?
I think.
The snakeskin steering wheel cover?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Anyway, go check it out.
The internet is so crazy that I couldn't possibly guess what the popular thing is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
They're like, is it panties? And all the fans are like, no.
It's the luchador mask from the spinoff of part 3, obviously.
Yeah, they're like, duh, it's the ashtray.
Yeah, yeah. Or a lot of them were just like glasses.
Yeah, shot glasses and stuff like that.
So
I imagine they made that list based on what they could actually do, and then they threw in a couple of well, let's see what they do.
Amanda?
Yeah?
There were some new Pokemon plushies. And these ones were especially adorable.
Ah, cute!
An Eevee wearing a little cape of a Pikachu, and a Pikachu wearing a little Eevee cape and hood.
That's cute.
Which was pretty cute.
Or if you have a morbid mind, you're like, they skinned their enemies.
There's also a little Pikachu, like a little magical girl Pikachu,
cute.
like a little idol cosplay Pikachu.
That's adorable.
What
the fuck?
It's like a little angry guy Pikachu. He's a Pikachu rock star is what this is called.
Yeah, he looks like a rock star. He's got a lot of eyebrows.
It's like a little Pikachu PhD.
Cute. He's got glasses.
Pockets are full of experiments.
I love the way Japanese games will be like, they're smart and therefore they always have the graduation cap on.
Yep. They never took it off.
Yeah.
I like the fact that that apparently on this he also has hair. He's got he does. A ponytail that's coming off of his thing.
Amazing.
Anyway, most of these are already sold out and you can't buy them.
Yeah, I don't buy plushies like that. There's only one plushie in my life that I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
And I can't find it anywhere. And
what is it?
And I hunt for it. It's the Sam the Eagle Squishmallow from the Muppets.
What's a Squishmallow?
They look like pillows, but they're extra soft.
Oh, okay. Squishmallow.
But they have Muppet ones.
Uh-huh.
And I don't want all of the Muppets.
Right.
I just want Sam the Eagle. I don't know, and I cannot tell you why. But he just looks so stupid.
Here's the Sam the Eagle 8-inch plush.
I don't want to buy it online. I want to hunt for it.
Oh, okay. This is $20.
I understand
This is Saturday, February 15th. I'll buy this for you right now.
I understand that I could go online and buy it.
Okay.
I want to go to a store and have Sam the Eagle appear before me.
Okay. Well, that makes
And
that
I've
makes
only
sense.
found Kermit, but I don't want Kermit.
Yeah, you want Sam the Eagle.
I want Sam the Eagle.
I want Sam the Eagle.
Because it's so cuddly, but he looks so pissed off.
He's very angry.
Yeah, he's so mad.
And last but not least, somebody has done something really terrible to the Cyberpunk 2077 modding community.
Oh, no.
Where they have made it so that all of the hands in the game are feet. And,
no!
It's called V Feet Hand. And apparently it doesn't work very well, but...
I don't like it. This is the everything everywhere all at once bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Well, once you got Chris Redfield, baby Chris Redfield, I think everything's on the table.
Yeah.
So
I don't like it.
I think it's funny. I'm worried that somebody is very turned on by it.
Yeah. They're playing this game for a very different reason than other people
Even though I'm not as people get really weirded out about how some people are attracted to feet. And I'm like, well, it's not my thing, but everybody's attracted to something whatever.
Feet is the least concerning fetish people could have.
Yeah. And with that declaration, we are done. We have now, we got a little bit over this week, but not as much as I would have thought with the number of things that we managed to get out there. So patreon.com/RageSelect is where you can go if you want to help out. It takes a long time to get this bullshit together. I got to stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yay.
And that's it. I have to go.
Coffee's downstairs. We gotta go get it.
I gotta go find that coffee, and I gotta figure out how to turn off these RGB lights on my computer. I know you guys haven't been part of that conversation, but they've been on the whole fucking time, and I hate them.